Right, back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match for the All Blacks. In this game, they are taking on the Flying Fijians. It is happening in the USA. San Diego will play host to this contest, which is only around 45 minutes away. But the All Blacks, they have got a few debuts for this game lined up. One in particular in the starting lineup for the Fijians. They have been building into what is a very strong, dangerous side heading towards their Pacific Nations Cup. They'd love nothing more than to put a win under the belt up against the ABs. But looking through, first of all, at the starting lineup for New Zealand, Tamaiti Williams, Asafa Amor, and Fletcher Newell are the front row for the All Blacks. Tamaiti Williams, these will be his first minutes of 2024. Asafa Amor and Fletcher Newell both coming off the bench in the two tests up against the English. Scott Barrett will keep his spot as number 4, but the change at 5. No Patrick Tuipulotu for this matchup due to him being back in New Zealand, recovering from his little bit of a knock that he took in the second test match. They want him for the Rugby Championship, so Tupavai does move in to the starting lineup. Luke Jacobson will take on the 6th jersey in this game alongside Ethan Blackadder at 7. He is another man we have not seen any minutes for throughout 2024, and Ardie Savia. He has played a lot of minutes already for the All Blacks in the first 2 games that he has returned from Japan, and this one might be the most physical one. Cortez Ratama and Damian McKenzie as the 9-10 combination for the All Blacks. They have worked together for the Chiefs throughout Super Rugby Pacific, so this game should be no different. And a welcome face at number 12 for this All Blacks backline is Anton Lienert-Brown, which does mean you've got 9, 10 and 12 all playing for the same side in Super Rugby. Could mean the chemistry is already there, but a new opportunity and a debut. And number 13, Billy Proctor, is in the starting side. He had a great season for the Hurricanes throughout Super Rugby Pacific. The man beats defenders for fun. These two in the midfield combination, they were the 2 informed centres throughout Super Rugby Pacific for New Zealand sides. So it is great to see that they are getting that opportunity. We have got Caleb Clark out on the left wing in this contest. That is rather than Mark Talia, who did score quite a few tries up against the English, but they have decided instead to go with Clark here, give him some minutes under his belt. And then Sever Reese out on the right wing, probably a little bit of a surprise for some people, expecting to see Imoni Narawa there, but instead Reese does keep that spot. And Bowden Barrett at number 15 after a brilliant performance off the bench in the second test match up against England. And they've decided to keep him in the starting side. Quickly looking through at the Fijians, and we will be reading the chat in the front row. Aroni Maui, Tavita Ikanaveri, and Masaki Donge. Now, Tavita Ikanaveri is an absolute game changer, and I would not be surprised if he can somehow, push this game a little bit more in Fiji's direction. He's got great running meters, he's got real physicality, and he's going to be an entertaining player to watch in this contest. Soana Silasila alongside Timo Maina Vanua. So the front 5 actually remaining the same from the last contest up against Georgia. Lakima Tangi Valu, that man is a bulldozer, will run over the top of you. Kitioni Salawa, he will either run over or he will run around you. And then they've got the big man Viliami Mata to close out this Fijian fullback. Frank Lamani with Isaiah Armstrong Ravula getting his first start for the Fijians. Inia Tabuavau, I should say, at number 12, with Waisia Naiatalevu on the outside at 13, the captain for Fiji. Semi Radradra, his first minutes of 2024 in a Fijian kit. Jita Wanyanyolo out on the other wing, and Vilamoni Botitu moves from 10 last week up against Georgia to 15 here. He did play 15 up against the Barbarians. I believe in that game had about 20-something carries. So he's definitely active for that 15 jersey. But now reading through the chat, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are all doing extremely well. We have got quite a few messages by the looks of it. We have got there, you're late, Hamish. I was probably late by about 20 seconds or so. But the good news is we've got 45 minutes of build-up where we can make up for it. We have got Kia ora, Hamish says, Vinny, welcome in. We have got there, can anyone answer why this game is not played in New Zealand or Fiji? I believe it is due to a little bit of marketing, I guess you could say. They are looking towards that 2031 Rugby World Cup, how they thought they'd better put a feeler out there, see what the reaction is for the way that sides play in the USA. Plus, because it is the All Blacks, they were able to charge a huge amount of money, so they probably made more money by playing this game in the USA than they would have playing it in New Zealand or Fiji. So even though it is a lot of travel, like the time zones worked out all right, plus I'd like to think it's going to earn both sides a hefty paycheck, so hopefully it does work out not too bad. How's it, Hamish? Looking dapper, buddy. Welcome in, David. Hope you are keeping well. Where is the game held? It is in San Diego, California for this matchup. And we have got their Fiji losers. I will sleep outside, but we know Fiji will win, says Trust. And we have got their, hello, says Callisto. Welcome in. Hi, says Lave, and run it straight at Eben Etzebeth. Or tackle Sebastian Chappelle. I was running straight at you. And also, where is that Fijian draw winger guy? Are you talking about Joshua Tuisova? Or are you talking about Vinaya Hibosi? Or, there's about 3 other guys that I could list. Dakawanga, who did play last week, got himself 2 tries. He's not playing. Apeli Momo, who scored himself 3 tries up against the Barbarians. He also isn't playing. But I assume you're talking... Or it could be Celestino Ravatamanda, to be fair, but probably Tuisova. And I think he's got a bit of an injury at the moment. This will be touch rugby. And I think all the best for Fiji, says Vinny. And it's more than likely going to be a physical game. Exactly right. And it's also quite a warm game by the looks of it. Around 23 degrees Celsius in San Diego at the moment. New Zealand, their last contest at Eden Park, they probably played in about half that temperature. Whereas Fiji normally do enjoy quite a warm game. We see it in Suva. We see it Nandi, anywhere that they do play in Fiji. The heat is there. And this might actually favour the Fijians a little bit. Is the game sold out? I believe it is close to it. But I know that they were also charging a few $100s for certain seats. In fact, I think there are even seats in the thousands. So, that's the thing that is a big difference maker, is the fact that American sport, when it's played in America, people will pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a seat. And then you might get a meet and greet alongside it. But the likes of these front seats just here, people would have been paying probably $400 to go watch the game, but they were happy to do it because that's just what happens when you play sport in America. When you go to the stadium, you get the whole atmosphere alongside it. Well, Hamish says, JMK, welcome in. This Fiji side has a bunch of great supporters, says Lave. They certainly do. We've met quite a few of them on the channel. And Fiji 34, New Zealand 31, says the power of touch. Now, I don't think I've seen anyone predicting a low-scoring game. And, of course, that prediction there does fall into the same category of everyone believes that this one is going to be free-flowing. It's a hard track, as they've said, so it means that it is going to be a fast-paced contest. And awesome, Lave, great to hear, says Vinny. And as well, I can only join you in the 25 minutes plus watching the rest on Sky Sports, says Lave, and hopefully a few All Blacks make claims for the starting 15. And the Tri-Nations. And also we have got the ABs by 25, says Kevin. And also Hamish, this must feel like the middle of the night for you. Are you okay? Are you going to burst into flames in the daylight? Luckily, it's overcast, Tony, so there will be no bursting of flames for myself, or into flames. But yeah, it feels a little bit weird being up at this hour. Although normally on the weekend I'm up at this hour anyway. It's just more the fact that once I've woken up, I normally am awake for another 24 hours or so, whereas today I think we're only awake for another 20, so that's quite nice. An early finish for ourselves on the channel. Of course, later on we have got Australia versus Georgia, and also we have got South Africa versus Portugal. Both of those games we are covering on the channel. We have got their New Zealand winning this one, hoping for a tough match at the least, says the Water Parrot. And Bullet Commentator says, Joseph Yaya, welcome in, mate. Hope you are keeping well. Wait, what, $300? Yeah, I can't remember what the number was, but someone who's from the US who lives here, we built some sheds and whatnot for him. He was going back, and I can't remember how much he said that 2 of the tickets cost him. I want to say it was close to $1,000 though, and he was happy to pay it. What time are the other games on? So Australia versus Georgia is going to be taking place. It says 5:45 kickoff, but it's always best to assume that they're lying with Australian games, and it's probably 15 minutes later at 6 p.m. New Zealand time, and then 3 a.m. New Zealand time is when Portugal are taking on South Africa. G'day, Hamish from Brisbane. Bullet to our viewers, or our friends from Fiji. Let's go to the All Blacks and watch my new lava lamp, says James Martin. Those things always used to intrigue me at the hardware store when you just watch them go up and down. I was always worried one would break, though. I thought it was literally lava inside of it. How's this game? Call it New Zealand playing New Zealand, or Fiji playing Fiji? Wait. Call it New Zealand playing New Zealand or Fiji playing Fiji, says JMK. I think that's a reference to where the players are from, I assume. Do you Samoa have any games this weekend? They do not. No contest for the Samoans. We did see Tonga play yesterday up against the Spanish. We also saw the Reds take on Wales. Anyone who hasn't watched that game it's a pretty underrated one. Actually, a really awesome performance from both sides going down to the wire. I won't tell you who wins just in case you do want to watch it later on, but looking through at the reserves for these two sides, it will be George Bell, Ethan de Groot, and Pasilio Tosi at number 18. So 2 debuts for the All Blacks in the front row replacements. George Bell playing for the Crusaders throughout Super Rugby Pacific. He was the first choice option until Cody Taylor did come back, but he has a great running game. I think up against Fiji, it will actually suit him quite nicely to be out there on the field late. Pasilio Tosi, he had a golden point try, scored up against the Reds in Super Rugby Pacific. That was probably one of the only tries we saw from Pasilio Tosi, but it was one of the most important for the Hurricanes in the season. He's a great scrummager. You know that he's decent when he was keeping Tyrell Lomax out of the starting lineup at one point, even though Lomax did have that injury, but as he got closer to being recovered, Pasilio Tosi was still getting plenty of minutes. Sam Derry gets his chance for the All Blacks. I believe that man will be added into the Rugby Championship squad with a little bit of, I guess, less depth than they'd like, I would say, is the best way of putting it for the All Blacks. We may even see another lock get added into the fray as well. Wallace Satiti also going to be on debut. He has a brilliant ball running game for the Chiefs. He's a workhorse. He seemed to really step up in the important playoff games for the Chiefs as well. So I look forward to seeing him on the field. And Noah Hotham, he was brought in due to the injury of TJ Perenara. I don't think he would have actually been anticipating playing in this game. But Finlay Christie, he's picked up a bit of an injury too. So between the two halfbacks for the All Blacks, there is one international cap. That was off the bench last week for Cortez Ratama, Geordie Barrett and Moni Narua, the last two off the bench for New Zealand. For the Fijians, it is Zaril Tongiatama, Hiareti Hatit and Samu Tawake as the front row replacements. Albert Tuisui at number 19 with Ilia Thanakaivata at number 20. Then Simeone Kuravoli, 21, Caleb Muntz, 22. That man slowly building back into his Fijian career after that injury he did sustain at the World Cup. And Soreli Mangwala there at number 23. So 2 great sides, and both are going to be going for a fast-paced attacking game, definitely in the dry, hot conditions. The question is whose gas tank is going to be able to last that little bit longer. Already we see the players still warming up in the background. You wonder whether or not, as the game wears on, will the fatigue start to set into inexperienced halfback. Interesting, but like them, says Joe Webby. And yeah, they were in the scenario where they didn't really have much of a choice because of Christie's injury. It meant that they had to go with the 2 young guys. And, you know, that's one of those things that can either work in their favour because those 2 will play with a bit more fearlessness, unless, of course, the big lights do put them under pressure. But you also have the factor of, if it goes wrong for these young halfbacks, you've got nothing to fall back on. You don't have someone like a TJ or a Finlay or a Aaron Smith to be able to turn the game around late. If Fiji take the momentum and it's going wrong at 9, it will continue going wrong at 9. If these guys don't have that experience of working out how to fix that problem. I mean, we saw it for the Crusaders throughout Super Rugby Pacific. Noah Hotham, don't get me wrong, he had some good moments, but can he turn a game around in his favour if it starts to get ugly? And throughout the season of the Crusaders, you'd almost say no. So we'll have to wait and see how it ends up going. Excited to see the All Blacks. All the debuts for the All Blacks. There's Royal Rugby there, up the Hamish, says Bill. And we have also got the Kia ora brother, Love Your Mahi, and YouTube channel, says Fiona. Thank you very much, greatly appreciate it. And just be happy New Zealand offered opportunities to all Pacific players. Say it again. Says Moss there, and also we have got the Hi Holland Hamish, and no Papali'i, is he rested or injured? So he is rested for this contest. But yeah, he's going to be a bit of an interesting one heading into the Rugby Championship for Dalton Papali'i. I just have that feeling like we may end up seeing, if Ethan Blackett has a great game here, he could take that number 7 jersey. Papali'i was good up against England, but I don't know whether or not he had the same type of performances as he was having throughout Super Rugby Pacific. It seemed a little bit more, I guess, balanced, but also more so like he was trying to avoid getting fully injured, so instead took the foot off the gas a little bit, probably only playing in about 4th gear. I hate playing a team I love and respect, says Jamie, and very excited to see all the debuts for the All Blacks, says Royal Rugby, and also Fiji will win their first game against the All Blacks today, says Trust, although it is not, of course, their first ever game. They did play in 2021 down in Dunedin. That game, New Zealand were able to get themselves their victory. Will they do their war dances at the same time? There may be some overlaps. Maybe. I know that we see that quite a bit for first 15 rugby here in New Zealand. How one side will start and then the other side just start going for themselves. Dosa Viti Doso, says Miriama. And also I really want the ABs to win, but I know the Fijians will be bringing it, and the ABs know it, says David the Mod. Not only Papali'i not owning that position, most of the team, says Joe Webby. Yeah, which is why this game, yes, it's a little bit different playing the Fijians than playing England, because different types of defense, different types of attack, but it's one of those ones that you cannot afford to underestimate Fiji, but you also just have to make sure that you do extremely well. That is poor from New Zealand. I've just seen that they'll put Dalton Papali'i's picture as Wallace Satiti off the bench. So, is there a late change, or is it just the fact that they got the graphics completely wrong? But I can tell you right now, Dalton Papali'i and Wallace Satiti do look quite different. So I'm surprised that they didn't know what Wallace looked like for the team lineups. We have got there. It would be great if Fiji can pull off the biggest upset in rugby history, but it would be the end of Razor's coaching career. Well, he's still only 3 matches in. I know that people were disappointed in terms of the English series, but at the end of the day, the bloke got 2 wins from 2, which you can't really get much more than that. Yes, you can win comfortably, but up against the English, that just isn't really an option most of the time. Does Fiji have a lot of the same players from the World Cup that's playing in this game? Pretty similar overall, although a few players from the Fijian draw also make their way in, such as Kitione Salawa. Who else have they got from Fijian draw? Armstrong Ravula is there now. And I think that's about all that they've made in terms of the changes in the starting lineup. Off the bench, we get to see Hereti Hetit, who is a Fijian drawer boy. Zaril Togi Otama is also from the Fijian drawer, but he did play in that last World Cup. Will this game be a blowout? I hope it's not. I hope that it is relatively close between the two sides. And that's the thing. A close game, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because, honestly, a close game really benefits Fiji, but I know that there'll be a lot of people who say that the All Blacks, that doesn't benefit them. But sometimes it's about those close games that you manage to get the wins in that help you get stronger. And I feel like the All Blacks up against the English, yes, at times they didn't have their best performances, but that would have tested them and would have taught them a lot about this player group, and they had to dig deep. And because they were able to get themselves the victories. But they are just showing the work of Ardie Savia. I'm curious to see if he transitions to 7 at the end of this game, bringing Wallace Satiti into number 8, or whether Savia will be that straight swap. Getting ready for the Rugby Championship. Good afternoon, Hamish, says Zion. Hi, Hamish, says Daniel. And Proctor Anton, Leonard Brown. What do you think, Hamish? I do like the combination. The only criticism of it that I have before we've seen it, of course, is the fact that Leonard Brown, I feel, was so strong at 13 throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season, but obviously they can't play them both at 13 unless they were to put Geordie Barrett as the number 12. So, I hope that he does as well at 12 as he did in that 13 jersey, because he had his best ever Super Rugby Pacific season. Our number 1 weakness is a lineout, so it'll be interesting to line up Fiji's lineout against us, says Joe Webby. And yeah, I honestly think that the lineouts, I don't want to jinx it, but I think they will be stronger today. Because, for one, Fiji don't have Maro Atoje to cause a lot of disruption and get those line-out steals. They have got Asoana Silasila and Timo Maia-Navanua, though, who both in their own respects are pretty handy when it comes to a rolling maul defence, as well as being able to get a couple of those line-out steals. But we're just in that scenario that line-out time, height wasn't the issue. A lot of people tried to say that it was because the All Blacks didn't have enough height on them. That's why they wanted Samapeni Finau in, but Finau only received 1 line-out throughout that second test match. And I wonder whether or not if they had someone like a Blackadder in that loose forward trio, whether or not we would see a little bit more oomph coming and also a bit more physicality along the way as well. And the All Blacks versus Fiji, New Zealand have won 11-0. Says Ronnie there for the record. And Flying Fijians all the way. I'm going to get me a roast hut and Mac attack and bring back Rika Vunibaka, says Doctor there. And also we have got a bit earlier on, I think I missed a message or two. All Blacks all day, says Moss, and hey, afternoon. Hope you're doing well this afternoon, says it was there from Razor. But yeah, we will look through at what is to come for these two sides, of course, but also what happened recently. These are the two games that these sides have played. New Zealand had a 2-match series up against the English. It was a hard-fought contest, that first one anyway, and then the second was just as gritty and grindy, but in the end, the All Blacks winning that second game by their 7 points. They're just saying Ethan Blackadder, this is his first test for the All Blacks, or his first start, I should say, since the 2021 series up against the Irish. So it's been quite a while since we have seen that man in action. He is a workhorse, though. He was not involved in either of these 2 test matches. 24-17, that second one, though. Beauden Barrett, definitely one of the game changes for the Fijians. They had their game up against the Barbarians, in which they did win, that they were defeated in 45 points to 32. I think it was late in that contest that Fiji just started to slow down a little bit. And that will be the concern for this game as well, whether or not the All Blacks can try and run them off their feet, or whether Fiji can keep that intensity throughout the whole contest. They've gone with the 5-3 split, which means they do have that spare back in Sareli Mangwala alongside Munster and Kuravuli, but I wonder what kind of tempo we're going to see played between these two sides. Georgia versus Fiji, that one was a great performance from the Fijians. They did not concede a try in that matchup. 21 points to 12. I see there Ma'anonu actually on the sideline at the moment, having a chat to Mills Muliaina. There will be quite a few people piling into the stands. Looks like, I thought it was a sellout, but it may be not quite by the looks of the stands at this point, unless, of course, everyone is still out the back. I know that normally for big sporting events, they do end up with I can't remember what it's called, but it's called something where everyone in the car park, kind of hang out right up until the start of the game, and then they go into the stands. So it may still be a little while before the stands do completely fill up, but looking through at what is to come for New Zealand as well, for anyone wondering, now I should mention, this is the first match of the Rugby Championship. Then they have got about 5 other games after that, and then these games taking place in November. But New Zealand will be taking on the Irish, 9:10 a.m. New Zealand time. That is going to be on the 9th of November. Then Sunday, on the 17th, so that's only a 6-day turnaround, an 8-day turnaround, I should say. I can do math sometimes. It's going to be up against the French, the Italians, and the English. So the only sides from the Six Nations that they aren't playing, Wales and Scotland. But if you're looking for someone to play them, the Fijians have it got you covered. They have got the contest up against Scotland on the 3rd of November. They are playing Wales on the Monday, the 11th, and then also up against the Irish on the 24th. They have got the Pacific Nations Cup, which is only around 30 and a bit days away. The big thing there is going to be, can Fiji continue their momentum that they created from last year's Pacific Nations Cup up against the Samoans first? Then they have got other games up against Japan and Tonga, where they will want to make sure that they are the victorious side. But those are the upcoming games for these two teams, as well as, of course, those other games of the Pacific Nations Cup here and the other games of the Rugby Championship that are taking place for the All Blacks as well. But they have got, first of all, in that series, they are going to be playing up against Argentina for the ABs. Then from there, they are going to be taking on, I believe it is the South Africans, or they might have one game up against Australia, then the South Africans, and then the last game of the Bledisloe, who leads the Haka. That's a great question, because last week it was Cody Taylor. This week, I feel like it will be Anton Leonard-Brown, to be honest. Like, if I had to guess, I would say that that is probably who the All Blacks will go with. We have got there in the chat, very happy to see, or very excited to see the debuts. What time is tomorrow's game for the... Tell you what, I'm a mile behind in the chat, aren't I? I think I missed a couple messages, but Portugal versus South Africa is taking place at 3 a.m. New Zealand time, or 5 p.m. for you guys. In South Africa, Hamish has a combination 9 and 10 for Fiji. Says Felipe, it is going to be Frank Lamani and Isaiah Armstrong-Ravula, a combination that has worked for the Fijian drawer. Still a lot of inexperience for Armstrong-Ravula, though, in that 10 jersey, so I wonder whether or not the All Blacks will try and put a little bit of extra pressure on him, but he does have the X factor, and he also has some great kicking that he could offer in this match. We haven't had a strong running 12 since Nonu. Lamapi was the closest, says Asher, and Blackadder will make the difference. Well, Blackadder is better at open side, says Joe Webby. Hamish is great. You should be on ESPN, bro, says Edward. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated, mate. And Fiji has to go full tilt, rush defence, put the hammer down physically, scare the All Blacks backwards, otherwise it's going to be one-way traffic, says Zion. Yeah, they have to match physicality. Tailgating is the word, that's the one. But yeah, that's normally something that you see in American sports that we don't really get here in New Zealand. Like, they'll have a few stands around as you're making your way into the ground, but nothing like you see at the American sporting events. Beauden Barrett for first five, McKenzie on fullback. Says Zion, I just don't see them making that change, though, because throughout the whole seasons, like, we haven't seen McKenzie play 15, really, at all for the Chiefs, and also we've seen Beauden Barrett come on the field twice for Stephen Pettiford. No games until August, then November. Says Razor, I mean, that's how the season works. It's Fletcher Null leading the Haka. Says Razor, and Haka to Mighty Williams, says Kit Dyer. Not sure about Clark at 15. That's lucky that he's not playing there. He's playing 11 for this match. What's Noah's passing like? Good to see quick ball, Ratama on. Says Stanaway. His passing's all right. Noah Hotham, he's a very good player when they're going forward, the Crusaders. But there were times where throughout that Super Rugby Pacific season, they couldn't really get that front foot. But I wonder whether or not the combination of McKenzie and Hotham may actually bring him a little bit more, I guess you could say, confidence, just because throughout the season he was dealing with, for a start, it was Fergus Burke. Then there was also Reveza Rehana in there. There was, who was the other fella that they had at number 10? I can't even remember his name, but he was a club rugby player. Then he came in for a couple games, plays for, I think, Counties Manukau or Waikato. I can see him, but I can't think of his name, unfortunately. Caleb Clark on 13, Leonard Brown second 5. I think Billy Proctor's going to be a good option for them in that number 13 jersey. And that's the thing, like Caleb Clark, as much as people want to move him, he's had a fantastic season for the Blues out on that left wing for the Crusaders. Says Stanaway, yeah, Havili had a little short crack. Who's the guy I'm thinking of, ladies and gentlemen? The man who only played a couple games at 10 for the Crusaders. It was near the back end of the competition. If anyone can remember, I would be impressed. And D-Mac is too short for a high ball at fullback on defence, but an attack the bomb. So Tutu at number 10, says Razor there. And Hamish, I was about to check the game out on my TV, but then I just want to tell you that Kotes Ratama is very quick at getting the ball around. Do you agree? I do agree. Riley Hohe, but that's the name that we were after. But yeah, like they've had a lot of changes, so that never really allowed Noah Hotham to build up chemistry with his team. So this might be his first and last, or first of many games for the All Blacks. He just has to make sure he's taking that opportunity with both hands and going out there and just absolutely just going for it. Fergus Burke, I think that is from Lave. I'm very smart and very, very good with rugby names. You can test me, says Razor Robinson. Nah, it's all right. We'll believe you. But Narawa, where is that? Narawa should get multiple tries, although he's coming off the bench. So it could go two ways, right? He could come on when everyone's getting tired, and that may heavily benefit him, or he might be out there when the game's getting tight and that neither side want to make the mistakes. And D-Mac is built like a 9. He should play halfback, says Zion. Yeah, once again, he's still a big enough 10. And the thing that's made Damian McKenzie so good, or at least so like handy, is the fact that he gets absolutely smashed and still gets up. And you can't really teach that kind of heart. You either have it or you don't. And McKenzie's got it, which is why I feel like he is going to be one of those players that as long as he avoids injury, he will be around the picture for a long time, because he's at least going to go out there, and if he gets bulldozed over the top of, he's going to get up, he's going to dust himself off, and he's going to try and tackle the next biggest guy that's on the field for the opposition. I think Christie is good halfback playing Blues footy, Northern Hemisphere style 10-man game. Do you think he suits the AB style? He's an interesting one. I feel like the passing aspect for Christie is still a little bit like in the air, I guess you could say. Like, he is one of the slower ball recyclers for the All Blacks, and that doesn't really suit the way that they play, because they want to try and get that front foot going forward, and they want to be quick. Thanks to the commentary again. Interesting to see how the All Blacks go. Says John, and biggest question, why is it played in America? I think it's money-wise. Like, they would have been offered a lot of money to play at the stadium, and it's also building towards that 2031 World Cup. You sound like Rocky Balboa giving a most motivational speech. Yeah, like Sylvester Stallone. I was going to do an impersonation of what he sounds like, but I think that would turn into an offensive one, so I will not do that. But yeah, he's normally, you got to listen very closely to Rocky Balboa so that you know what he's saying. Hey, Mum, We have got their biggest question. I know I read that one, but America, a country who don't even play the sport. True, but they want to host the 2031 Rugby World Cup. So I feel like that's also something that they've got as motivation to have games over there. I don't think this will be the only game we see played over in America between opposition sides from somewhere else. I think New Zealand will probably play another game in the US before that 2031 Rugby World Cup, if not maybe a few of them. What do you think the score will be? I think my prediction was 52-15 or something along those lines, but I hope it's a lot closer. We certainly do play the sport. Says Bill, yeah, we've got to remember, like the USA in the last, let's say, 3 years or so have really come a long way in terms of the coverage of rugby, but it still isn't quite where the likes of an NFL or a NHL or any of those ones are, but that doesn't mean that it can't get there. A lot of Americans have said when they have been exposed to rugby, they've said, why aren't we watching this more? At what time the game begins, we are only 14 minutes away from the kickoff in this contest. So if anyone is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are getting very close to the start of this matchup. And as soon as it starts, we will be, of course, providing the live commentary. Playing in USA is more of an exhibition game for American people, says Stephen's uncle. And I, Hamish, can you please say my name, says Ollie. And 37-24 is the prediction from Razor Robertson. Also, if you want to generate huge money in the game, has to see growth in America or the UAE, says Stanaway. And of course, there was that deal that went on with, I think it was the UAE, wasn't it? That did take place. We got the question mark from Asanatha, but luckily we did just answer that question. Bula Hamish, who's refereeing today in ground conditions. Also, is there another pre-game or pre-rugby game before this? There was not, no. But they have got a few Americans bringing a big American flag onto the field by the looks of it now. But to answer your first question of who's refereeing, I think it's Matthew Carley in charge of this one. I say the game's going to be 25-25. Be a close game, that is for sure. Okay, they're expecting about 30,000 in attendance for this match. They've got an official merchandise stand for the All Blacks, and that thing will be, of course, getting a lot of sales. League is more of an American thing, I think. Much similar rules for the simple people. And I wouldn't be surprised if the pitch is synthetic grass, horrible field, if so, says Zion. I don't think it is. I think it is just a pitch that they've managed to make a very hard track, and it's going to be a great game between the two sides. At least I hope, anyway. Of course, we can only dream, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully everything does run smoothly for this matchup, and we get to see a high-scoring game. I feel like that is one thing that would really get Americans hooked on rugby, is if they see Fiji in action with their offloads, with the skill that they bring, the All Blacks, with the prestige that comes with that team, the haka beforehand. It's going to be something that maybe some Americans are experiencing for the very first time. But looking through at the starting lineup for New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen, Tamaiti Williams, Asafa Moore, and Fletcher Null as the front row. Scott Barrett and Tupavai will be there. And the locking duo, Luke Jacobson, Ethan Blackadder, and Artie Savia make up the loose forward trio. Quite a few changes compared to what we saw in the last match for the ABs. In terms of the backline, Cortez Aratama and Damian McKenzie will be the Chiefs combo, with Anton Leonard-Brown on the outside at number 12. Billy Proctor at number 13 on debut, so a massive opportunity for that man to try and take that number 13 jersey from Rieko Ioane, who hasn't found his form yet this season. So perhaps this is the time for Billy Proctor to have a blinder. Caleb Clark at 11, Sevu Reece at number 14, and Beauden Barrett there as the number 15 for the All Blacks. In terms of the Fijian starting lineup, it will be Aroni Maui, Tavita Ikaneveri, and also Masaki Donge at number 3 for this match. So Nasila Silla and Timo Mainavanua making up the locking duo, Lakima Tangi Valu, Kitioni Salawa, and Viliami Mata in the loose forward trio. That will definitely have a lot of physicality, and the work rate of these three men has to be through the roof in this matchup. But if they can do that, that is where Fiji have a really good shot of being able to stay competitive in this match. Frank Lamani and Armstrong Ravula will be the 9-10 combination. Then also in the midfield, it is Tabu Aval and Waisia Nayatalevu. Semi Radradra out on one wing for the first time in 2024. We will see that man wearing a Fijian kit. Jita Waininyolo and also Vilamoni Botitu is there at number 15. Now, he was actually the injury replacement for Caleb Muntz at that last Rugby World Cup. When we did see Muntz go down with his knee injury, Potetu stepped up, and he has now got himself the starting spot with Muntz coming off the bench. Is Jacobson better at 6 or 7? Or sorry, 6 or 8? I think he's probably a better rate out of those two options, but he also goes very well anywhere in that loose forward trio that you put him. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that he is playing number 6 in this game. I think he's going to be very handy. I miss his vest. Says Josh there. And also we have got there, what do you think of the All Blacks lineup? I'm excited to see what the bench can bring to this game, just because there have been so many debuts taking place. We see both sides have run their way out onto the field, which means we are not too far away from the start of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. We have got there, I'm at the game right now. Us Fijians just came here to get drunk, have a good time. We know the All Blacks are going to win, says WMS. And I've been around the game for 20 years. Have yet to see Lee play here, says Bill. I think they only do one league game in America a year, don't they? I think it's the first game of the season. Last year, I think they went to the... Oh, no, they might have gone to England, actually, for that first game. And good line up for the All Blacks team, says Asanatha. And also we have got the Hamish Ethan Blackadder is my cousin. Well, hopefully he has a good game for the All Blacks. And in this matchup, kia ora Kiwi lads, whanau church, says Nars Williams. I should mention anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for this matchup. It's going to be an epic one. Billy Proctor, 25 years of age, will be making his debut. He's had 5 matches for the New Zealand Māori. He's had 63 in Super Rugby Pacific. But both sides just about to line up for the national anthems. And then we are underway for this match, ladies and gentlemen. Now, they are having a moment's silence. Unfortunately, great All Black did pass away earlier on in the week, Norm Hewitt. So they are going to have their minute silence beforehand. We have got there, I hope Fiji are really put in a massive effort and push the ABs for a bit, says Nas. And honestly, I think they can. Like, the Fijian side have got such a strong foundation. We have there, how much coin do you make off the channel, Hamish? I hope that doesn't come across as rude. I don't actually make anything. Any money that we make off the channel, I put straight back into the channel to keep it running, whether that's subscriptions to streaming software, subscriptions for sporting, like services, or, you know, audio, green screen, anything like that. But I do not make anything. But that's all right, because I enjoy doing it. And that's the main thing. Let's hope it's a game that is allowed to flow without interference from the officials, says Joe Webby. I hope so. Matthew Carley in charge of this one. He will know that both of these sides are pretty free-flowing overall. But a minute's silence has been done, and now everyone's standing up for the national anthems of these two sides. Then we will have the Haka standoff. Give them a taste of Kiwi, says a drink on the moon. But yeah, this game, there's just, even though some people are saying it's not going to be close, I think it's going to be hopefully closer than some are anticipating. I hope that Fiji stay competitive. We know how physical they can be. They stopped Georgia from scoring any tries last week, so that is a massive bonus for them. We'll see Tamaiti Williams bulldoze his way to the try line, says Kit Dyer. And there as well, but we have got the Fijian national anthem being sung, and then it will be New Zealand's national anthem. Rip Norm gone too soon, says Joe Webby. But the Vidic and Averi, they are showing that, man, he is a fantastic talent, and he will be one to definitely watch out for throughout this 80 minutes. Up against the Georgians, he had 44 metres carried. He was just everywhere that he needed to be, and also just brings that physicality to a rolling maul, to a breakdown. Good luck, Buller, says now Manu there, and well said, Joe. Says a drink on the moon and one-way traffic. Kiwis put on a good show for the Americans, says Zion. And yeah, I feel like as much as both of these sides, like, will try and stay structured at times, it's going to be a free-flowing contest. I just don't see both of them going into their shell. I think that they'll play that natural free-flowing game of rugby and should be very entertaining. But we are only 5 minutes away from the start of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. It helps the most of the Fiji side play for the draw. Chemistry already there, says Asher. That is true. They've also had 2 games together. Like I mentioned, the front 5 for Fiji all playing in the contest last week up against the Georgians. But when we look through at the All Blacks starting lineup of the players who were in the starting lineup last week, Scott Barrett was there. We saw Savia there, McKenzie, Reese. That's it. We've got 4 players, I believe that is, in the starting lineup that were in the starting side last week. Now, of course, a few of the other guys did come off the bench, but it's whether or not these guys can gel straight away or whether that gives Fiji the big advantage there. Well, they got the opera singer doing the New Zealand national anthem. But Fiji, in terms of their starting lineup, they have got more players in their front five than New Zealand had in their starting lineup last week in terms of building that chemistry. Lakema Tangivalu, that man just runs over everyone who is in front of him. He also makes very dominant tackles. Oh, yeah, they've really got the opera going for the New Zealand national anthem. They are showing a few of the debutantes, of course, Pasilio Tosi, George Bell, Billy Proctor, Sam Derry, Noah Hotham, and Wallace Satiti. If I just listed all 6 of those without messing that up, I am quite impressed. But looking through at the back line for the Fijians, Waisia Naita Levu, Jita Wanyanyolo, Radrara, and Botitu. Those guys are going to be dangerous, and they have to make sure that Lamani's firing early on in this game. Just listening to this anthem, it's unique. It's a unique national anthem way that they've done it. I thought they have worked out how to do anthems, says Air Congo. And also we have got the, can you please make more Rugby Challenge 4 vids? I mean, Rugby 25 has come out, so we might be doing a bit more of that. Very poor work on the sand stream. Looks like a kid with an iPhone. Will Samoa win this match? Samoa not playing in this contest. She doesn't sound a bit old. Says Drink on the Moon and always All Blacks. And bro, Fiji going to get smashed. I hope that it's close though. Just notice closing in on that 50k subs and well deserved. Says Nazi, we are only about 700 away from that 50. Okay, this national anthem's almost done. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think they'll invite her back. Just saying. We have got there. Good evening to you, Kiwi lads. Just got home from work. How far are we? We're only about 3 minutes away. We've got the Hakas. And then we are ready to go for this match. But the crowd have really piled in now. Go Fiji, go, says Samu. And there as well. Yeah, the crowd looks good. They look ready for a battle between these two sides. And the Fijians, of course, getting into that iconic shape that they do. This is going to be one of the first times in a while that we see them actually face-to-face with the Haka. See how they do challenge. I wonder how many neutrals at the game. I think there's quite a few. I think that for a lot of the neutrals, though, this isn't bad to say, but I think neutrals are supporting New Zealand in this contest for a majority of them anyway, because, of course, they've got all the All Blacks stands around the ground. Everyone's talking about the All Blacks. But Fiji are definitely going to be one that I think when people see them play here, there will be a lot more people hopping on that Fiji support train because they are just a very, very exciting team to watch. Who led the Haka? No one yet. Fiji are going first, and then we will get to find out. But some people said it's Fletcher Null. I think it's going to be Anton Leonard-Brown if I had to guess who they would go with. But Fiji have done their pre-match rituals there. Now the All Blacks are about to do theirs. The Haka. Oh, Adi Savi has got the camera on him. It looks like he's going to lead it. Or is he? Yep. Adi Savia. Oh, he's just run into a Moni Narawa. That was an accident, though, of course. As Fiji beat New Zealand before, they have not 11 losses. That was the slowest version of the New Zealand anthem I've ever heard. Murray verse with an American accent, says Mike. Yeah, it was unique. I'll be honest. It did seem like, you know, it was a bit longer than we are used to. I think they said about how she's based out of Los Angeles, a soprano. I don't know what that means. Soprano's like, that's the high one, isn't it? What is it? Soprano tenor? Is there a tenor somewhere? And the Americans or African Americans of the USA will be thinking, I don't know, there's another ethnicity more than us, says Naz Williams, but they are doing Kamate, the All Blacks. And it is over now. Soprano is high. Says Blue here, but now we are ready to go. Adi Savia looking like he's actually got a bit of a shiner already. But they are fired up for this game, ladies and gentlemen. The crowd let out a little bit of a cheer after the anthems and the Haka. And the Haka pops off, says here Congo. Let's go the All Blacks, says Scott Dawson. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, not just your score prediction, but also who you think will score the first try, which city is this in America. So it is in San Diego, California for this matchup. Of course, somewhere that Anchorman made quite famous. Definitely for people outside of the US, but Matthew Carley in charge. Ian Tempest, the Englishman, will be on the TMO, and Luke Rogan of the USA will be one of the assistant referees. So a big chance for him. Show what he can do on the international stage. They need to fly out of New Zealand to do the New Zealand national anthem, says Ollie West. And Go the AB, says Kit Dyer. I'm proud of our anthem, but a bit too long, says Spider-Mick. And Mark Talia, first try. He is not playing in this game. Out on that wing would be Caleb Clark, if you want to change it to him. Joe Rogan's son. Exactly right, yes. Get Artie to lead it from now on, says Dwayne. And Clark will score first, says Kit Dyer. But Billy Proctor, the only debutant in the starting lineup for the All Blacks. Coming off the bench, there are 5 debuts for the ABs. New Zealand want Poya as their national anthem. Emma said, Hamish, it's me. And Caleb Clark will score the first try, says Philemoni. And there as well. But now New Zealand, they will be kicking off from left to right. We go. First time since I think they said 1980. They are going to be in San Diego, but it's kicked off by Damien McKenzie. And we are underway for Fiji versus New Zealand. And it is well taken by Semi Radradra off kickoff. Fiji just inside of their 22. Nice run forward from Issoa. Nasilasila. Now Lamani back into the pocket. Kicking it downfield was Armstrong Ravula. And that is a good clearing kick for his first of the day. Gets them down towards the halfway line. Yeah, Caleb Clark first try, or D-Mac, who the commentator going for, Fiji. We are going to be neutral in this contest. I mean, I love watching both of these sides play, so it is pretty easy to be down the middle. That is a straight down the middle line out from the All Blacks with a Safar Moore. Anton Leonard Brown now crashes forward at his opposite number, Tabu Aval. Now Cortez Aratama goes to the left-hand side, McKenzie. And behind Jacobson, quick hands from Barrett, gets it out to Caleb Clark, who's bulldozed inland by Jita Wainyolo. On the halfway line now, Amor. Fiji matching the physicality throughout this first minute. Luke Jacobson goes off to Savia, who's tackled low by Aroni Maui. Now the All Blacks get it away to Fletcher Null, still on the halfway line. Crowd not budging as of yet. Sorry, backline not budging as of yet for the Fijians. Now nicely taken by Semi Radradra. Just inside of his 22, Bowden Barrett claims it. And looking to send a kick back. He was kicking beautifully up against the English down the middle. Armstrong Ravula gives it across to Philemoni Botitu. And he's just going to take his time, try and make sure this ball goes out. And it certainly does. 22 metres out from the All Blacks line. That is a fantastic kick. But the quick tap is taken by New Zealand. McKenzie will return fire down the middle of the field. He's got too much on it, but it hits the post, which is the only thing that kept it in the field of play. Now Philemoni Botitu this time finds the touchline, and they will not take that one quickly. 2 minutes of out-and-out action between these two sides. Bit of feeling out, though. Whereas Botia, is he injured? I believe he is, yes. It does feel kind of weird having a game this early. And the stadium is a choker. Says Spider Mick, a few seats empty. Says M, yeah, only few, though. Not too many. Well taken by Jacobson. Ratama goes to McKenzie. Then to Leonard Brown. Sounds like we're calling a Chiefs game with that many Chiefs players in the lineup. Artie Savia now hitting it up just inside of the half now for the All Blacks to Mighty Williams. Big shot coming on him by Waisia Nayaf Levu. Ratama goes across to Savia. Short ball from McKenzie. Finds Blackadder, who is tackled again by Timo Mayanavano. The ball is loose and Aroni Maui manages to get the turnover for the Fijians. Philemoni Mata. It's going to be tackled well, Fiji, with the ball in hand. Here comes Jita Wainyolo. And not enough men getting in the breakdown for the Kiwis. They do lose that ball early. Lamani going back across to the right-hand side. Armstrong Ravula tries the little chip in behind. Ball sits up for McKenzie. Pressure on him. Bowden Barrett gets the pass away to Reese. Looks like he wants to run it, but he's isolated himself there. But he has got men now with him. Now let's go. Says Obi, is the game sold out? I think it's very close to sold out, but still a few empty seats at the moment. 3 minutes 30 gone. McKenzie going with the bomb. up and under. And it's going to be contested. Caleb Clark gets it under the high ball. Ratama on the halfway line again for the ABs. Bowden Barrett goes to McKenzie. He pins his ears back. Two-man tackle from Fiji, but that opens up space on the outside. Proctor goes on the inside to Blackett, who needed to find that ball, but he couldn't quite get it there. No clean out coming. Tavita Kadaveri wins the turnover. Oh no, referee says the advantage. He actually got it that clean that they were able to get the ball without having to win the penalty. Timo Mainavanua hits it up now, and there is still advantage for the Fijians. But that was well done by Matthew Carley. Saw that Fiji wanted to attack, and now they will go back for the original advantage for not releasing. And Fiji defence on point so far. Adi led it, and also Clark warming up. Says Kit Dyer. And this is our favourite ref, says Mr. All-In and Bowden Barrett first try. ABs by 40 plus, says Spider Mick. And Clark was folded in their last tackle, says Seller. But did you see his catch under the high ball, though? A heavily contested one. Didn't look like he was actually going to be able to get to it. And Caleb Clark manages to end up with the ball for the All Blacks. Hamish, it's me, rugby mate, says him. I know, I did see. We have got there, Artie says Obi. Early on, penalty does go the way of the Fijians. Now, Isaiah Armstrong Ravula will put this one into touch for the Fijians. And once again, a very good kick and great catch. Says Salah. And yeah, there's been some big hits already. Damian McKenzie, he got hit in a two-man tackle to get straight back up to his feet. Tavita Kanaveri now will be going with this line out. And it's overthrown, but Fiji managed to slap it back onto their side. Lamani tries to run it at Risu, folds him over backwards. It's a big shot coming in from Risu. Was in the middle of the field rather than out on his wing. Artie Savia looking for the counter right, can't get it. Lamani now going in behind to Armstrong. Ravula Villamoni Botitu looks for the kick. Does bounce into touch. Hits the man with the microphone. Does the Fijians look tired? No. We're only 5 minutes into this contest and they are looking very fresh at the moment. They are looking competitive throughout this first 6 minutes of the matchup. Now, Safa Moore and get ready to throw this one in. We should also mention this game is being played in 25-degree heat, which is more than double what the All Blacks are used to playing, and Fiji love playing in these type of conditions. Anton Lineout, good flat run from him. Moving up to almost the halfway line now. McKenzie will boot it in behind again. Looking for the 50-22, and the mark is called by Fiji and fullback Villamoni Botitu. And let's go ABs, says James there as well. Right, Villamoni Botitu, he is able to just take his time, wait for his whole team to get back on side before kicking this ball. And he does put it into touch. That'll be about 45 metres out from the line here. New Zealand, they are willing to just wait this one out and go for their line out, rather than going too crazy off the get-go with a quick throw. They've already done one of those in this contest. Safa Moore now, though, ready to throw it in for the All Blacks. Once again, one moment. I will go like this and like that as well. Hopefully that works. There we go. And like that, there we go. Anton Leonard Brown now almost going through the gap. Tackle 40 metres out from the try line. Billy Proctor. Another low tackle made on him. Trying to get over the ball was Fiji. They aren't able to get that turnover. Savia pops it up to Tupavaiu with the no-look pass. How's Proctor going? He's had one run so far. I'll be honest, he probably passed the ball the wrong way, but it hasn't gone too badly for Billy Proctor as of yet. He might get the ball very soon here. Caleb Clark sitting 25 metres out from the try line. Ratama thought about going short side to Bowden Barrett, but instead will go across field. McKenzie puts the cross kick in, finds Severis, uses some acceleration, gets it to Jacobson. Here comes Billy Proctor, spins out of one tackle, but he is dragged down by Waisia. Knife the Levu is opposite number. Ratama again, a suffer more. McKenzie goes straight through. Open space here. Clark runs through and scores the first try of the match for the All Blacks 8 minutes in. What is the score? It's now 5-0 for the All Blacks after they've just scored their first try of the contest. Fiji playing way better, says Obi. I bet you, congrats on your bet, Zion, says Mr. Orland. And also 25-degree heat, problem for our boys. Fiji love hot climate, says Spider-Me, but great attack and run from Caleb Clark to pick his way through the gap. And it was originally that show and go from Damian McKenzie just dropped the shoulder. Ended up luring 2 Fijian defenders out of the way, and then it was about a 3-on-1. Vilimoni Botitu didn't have much of a shot, and then cutting back inwards, Caleb Clark finishes the job and gets the first try of the match for the All Blacks. That is really nicely done. Well, we will go like this. We will go like that as well. Now, kicking attempt here for Damien McKenzie. Taking time. And does get it over for Damien McKenzie, I should say. Yes, Proctor running good lines. And Clark too, says Air Congo. Well done, Clark. Floodgates is open. Says Kit Dyan. Yeah, Clark, first try. And okay, 5-0 says Anthem and Haka. Is Fiji looking dangerous? Yeah, their defence was very strong up until that little show and go from McKenzie, which did cause a few options, or a few problems, I guess you could say, for them there. We'll go like that. We'll go like that. And like that. There we go. Now, Leonard Brown taking it well. Hopefully scoreboard. There we go. There's no, does anyone have a stream link? There's literally no stream link. Says Ben there. I mean, depends on whereabouts you are in the world. I believe this game is being shown on Flow Rugby if you are in the US, though, as one of the good options to be able to watch it. Yes, Proctor running good lines of Clark too. Says here, Congo, let's go Sydney, says Athanatha. That one's going to be kicked in a touch by the All Blacks down to the halfway line. Decent kick from Ratima there. He's asking for a few extra metres from the touch judge. I don't think that normally works for the halfbacks. Now, line out throw for Tavita Ikanaveri. How's my nephew Cortez doing? Says Natikahu. He's had a couple touches so far. Cortez Ratima just had a decent kick downfield. That's going to be thrown in and stolen by the All Blacks at line out time. A suffer more going across McKenzie now. Savia. One more across Anton Leonard Brown. Proctor finds Barrett. Reese does kick it downfield about 40 metres out. Does enjoy a kicking behind, and that one is going to give Armstrong Ravula a lot of pressure. Offloads up Reese almost. Managed to get the turnover. What's the timeout policy and why was I placed it in Hamish? Says him, I have no idea. I didn't press a button. I'm in the US. Every other sport has tons of stream links. Flow is crazy. Says Ben there. And second best thing is listening to you, I guess, says Ben. And we are going to be covering plenty more games of international rugby on the channel. We have got Fiji and the Pacific Nations Cup that we will be covering, and also New Zealand and the Rugby Championship, both being covered on the channel, plus the Olympics. That is going to be a free kick. Or is it? Yes. It's going to be not straight from the Fijians, which does now mean that the All Blacks will have the scrum feed here. I feel like they'll be quite disappointed with that one. They needed to get it right, and they just weren't quite able to do so. And that's one I Hamish. Can I get an up the Wars? It says Ollie. They did play yesterday, didn't they? The Waratahs, or were they playing today? I can't even remember where. Oh, sorry, the Warriors, not the Waratahs. Currently 15 metres out from the line. New Zealand have got themselves a scrum, and this will be a set piece coming up here for the ABs. They've got a 10 kg advantage when it comes to pack weights, 928 kgs compared to 918. Here comes another try for the All Blacks. Says Blue here. And come on, ref, be fair, says Spider-Mick. Now Ratima going across there, flat ball to Anton Leonard Brown. He gets only 3 metres out. Now Ratima with the snipe, like he does for the Chiefs, goes over for the try. And that is now the second of the match for the All Blacks. The initial break from Leonard Brown, the finish for Ratima. Like I said earlier on, sounds like we're calling a Chiefs game. We have got there. Here comes another try for the All Blacks. They played yesterday. And pack's fairly evenly matched. There's M, and will Clark steal a spot on the wing the way he's playing now? I believe so. Is Clark in the lineup? He is indeed out on the left wing for this contest. Another Anton, your turn. Next for a try, says Zion. Yeah, good power shown by Anton Leonard Brown. Got through the tackle attempt of Frank Lamani. I like the pace of Ratima, adds to the AB's game plan. And mate, if I was Rico, I'd be sweating in my boots looking at Anton's form in the first 20. There's Razor Robinson, although Anton Leonard Brown, he is playing 12 for this game, so it's one of those ones. It's interesting whether or not they see Anton Leonard Brown more of a 12 here rather than a 13, so they'll be more looking at probably Proctor. How good does Anton Leonard Brown go? He's looking very strong at the moment early on. But that one has gone over from Damian McKenzie, now making the score 14-0 for the All Blacks here. Will there be a blitz by the AB, says Kadai? It is looking that way at the moment. Let's go, says up the Gokus. And what was the score in the last AB's Fiji game, mate? I believe it was about 47-18 or something like that. I can't quite remember what the score was, but it was about 3 years ago that the two sides played. It wasn't Dunedin. But yeah, I know the All Blacks won by about 30. Anton Linder-Brown is too good to not include. Even if he's not at 13, that is going to be now Cortez Ratama claiming that ball after Scott Barrett knocked it backwards off kickoff. Savia moves out of the 22. Now Ratama again into the pocket. Damian McKenzie does kick it downfield. Waiting for this one at the back. It is going to be Vilamoni Botitu. It looks like Fiji wanted to run that one to the left-hand side, but unfortunately just had no support whatsoever. They had to shift it to the right instead. Razor Robinson exactly Ratama's speed and wants to attack, says Joe Webby. Now is Armstrong Ravula being shut down by Ratama and Jacobson. Lamani, 40 metres out from their own line here for the Fijians. Masaki Donge. Good shot coming on him by Ethan Blackadder. Now, again, it will be kicked downfield from the Fijians. Razor Robinson, exactly Ratama's speeds. And also we have good there, who are the All Blacks playing in the autumn series, but sides Ireland in November. They also have a game up against the English, the French, and the Italians as their other matches. But now Semi Radradra going to be running this ball back. Great low tackle made by Jacobson again. A lot of these guys trying to fight for their spot in the starting side, getting into the Rugby Championship. Masaki Donge, tackled by Williams. This is good face play from Fiji. Well, I see a knife to Levu, trying to go through Adi Savia's tackle attempt. Now quickly recycled by Gita Wainaniolo. Used to that pace when playing for the Fijians in the sevens. Another offload coming for Fiji. Gita Wainaniolo gets through the tackle attempt to Proctor, which now opens up a bit of a space and a gap for I see a knife to Levu. Lamani gets it away to Armstrong. Ravula Botitu in behind. Radradra has Kitioni Salawa with him, but that'll be a knock-on from Botitu, I believe. Oh, it looks like it is going to be play on. Radradra, quick hands out wide. Now here comes Kitioni Salawa, pumping his legs. Reese trying to stop him. Gets into the breakdown. A little bit of a counter-ruck there from the All Blacks, but they can't get the turnover. Radradra goes through Blackadder. Up to 9 phases now for the Fijians. They're going to try the cross kick. Clark gets, oh no, he's dropped it. He's tackled pretty early. And now it's going to be kicked downfield. There is going to be the penalty or the knock-on. It is a knock-on there in favour of the Fijians. I cannot believe that I've never heard of you before. Thank you for doing this, brother, says Malcolm Taylor. No worries at all. If you are new to the channel, anyone who is watching, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going to be covering Rugby Championship just around the corner, Pacific Nations Cup, all the competitions that we can. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're also doing the Olympics next week for the sevens as well. And it's up all good conditions for the game, says Anoy. Yeah, it does look very nice at the moment for some free-flowing rugby, which is exactly what we have got so far. Dam Island and the AB's rematch will be crazy. So will France versus the All Blacks. Some good rugby ahead. And the Reds played Wales last night. They certainly did. Fantastic game between those two sides. I feel like a lot of people didn't realise that match was on, but it was a pretty outstanding one. So I would highly recommend checking out that game if you haven't already. Looks like a high-octane game, says Kit Dyer. Currently 17 minutes into this contest. There is going to be another scrum feed. And Fiji, they are in a good position on the field. 22 metres out. I was at 5:50 here. Our Reds almost got them. I was cheering for them. 60% territory at the moment for New Zealand. Fiji have actually had more time in their own 22 by an extra 23 seconds. But if they can get out of that kind of defensive area and start putting pressure on New Zealand's defence, that is where Fiji may find some success. Frank Lamani about to feed the ball in for the Fijians. Try time, says LB. Lamani puts it in now. Going back across to the left-hand side here. Here comes Tabua Val, tackled by McKenzie. He's looking a little bit, I don't know if he was fatigued or just a little bit rocked there. McKenzie, cross kick, finds the hands of Radradra, ball on the inside, and Vilamoni Botitu scores it for Fiji. They are now back into the contest And sleeping good to see Hamish. Let's go the All Blacks. There's Gary there, but great cross kick. Goes to Semi Redrado, then got that offload away to Vilamoni Botitu. And good to see Hamish. Let's go the All Blacks. Says Gary Miller. Lamani gets Armstrong Ravula in open space. Now this situation, unfortunately there, I think Clark was caught a little bit in the wrong spot. He wasn't sure if Barrett was going to make that tackle out wide. Though they needed someone else on the inside as well. I think Reese was a long way off the wing. That cross kick was the perfect thing to do for the Fijians, and they get the important try to get them back into this match now. Razor Robinson Reds were underpowered. So it was a good performance from them. And timed that well. I'll claim that try. I was telling Leon McDonald we should try and get Armstrong Ravula for the ABs, like a young Moonga. Well, he's actually related to Richie Moonga, so that probably makes sense. But now, 19 minutes in. A few Springbok supporters in the stands by the looks of it. In the green and gold, but Armstrong Ravula now. Line up this kick and make it a little bit closer. And just hasn't quite connected with that one the way that he would have liked. So the score will remain 14 points to 5. Still in favour of the All Blacks. In terms of a perfect kick, that is exactly what Armstrong Ravula was able to do. And are the French clubs holding some of the Fijian players back in France, says LB? I don't believe so. I know that they were for the Barbarians game, but I don't think they are at this point. And time to bro, let's go Fiji. They put up a good fight, says Royal. And well done Fiji, says Skit Dyer. No, Botia is injured. Then we got to admit New Zealand has become so, just like any Pacific Island nation, we trash now, says Xavier. Although we're like, the Pacific Island nation's going all right. You know, Fiji, they beat Georgia, which is a game that, once again, they did perform quite well in. They had a good game up against the Barbarians, but I wouldn't say it's a bad thing being like some of those other sides. Blackhead has conceded 2 turnovers and 1 missed tackle already. Says that guy, nice break and run from Billy Proctor now, looking to link up, breaks through 1. Is he going to pass? No, he just keeps on running at the try line there, Proctor. 10 metres out from the line. Ratama, quick hands from McKenzie. Reese thought about going on the inside. And he's going to be dragged down by Kitioni. Salawa, quick hands from Fletcher. No, doesn't quite find the hands. Good offload from Leonard Brown. Now McKenzie goes across to Jacobson. Busts through 1. 15 metres out now. McKenzie, quick hands, gets it away to Tamaiti Williams. Now Ratama again, Savia trying to go through, gets through 1, but then Aronia Maui knocks him down and knocks it on Artie Savia. Rear handling error from that man. Now looking for the counter-attack there, Vilamoni Botitu. Got it away to Tabu Aval. In fact, it was Mata, and that guy, bit of a worry. He lost the ball early, says Joe Webby. And bring Barrett into play, he's quite, says Zion. And Fairbrother says, Xavier, I didn't realise the NFL are actively poaching rugby players for the NFL in Australia. Is that the case, Jordan Mailata? I have no idea that happened. Who's Fiji's coach? It is McBurn, who was in charge of this. Fun fact, the last time New Zealand played Fiji, Jason Ryan was one of the coaches of Fiji. Now, he's coaching for the All Blacks. So, bit of a switch there, only 3 years apart, but of course, as coaches, you normally do get passed around a little bit between sides, in my opinion. Savia hasn't returned to form from Japan yet. Says Razor Robinson. I still feel like he's been pretty strong, though. Like, if you look at his work rate throughout that second test up against the English, did a really strong game. First match, he wasn't too shabby either. Now, it's going to be kicked downfield from Vilamoni Botitu after Fiji do win their scrum, but they've exited from inside their 22 to be still inside their 22. Savio rubbing fingers. Did the same against England. Says Spider Mick. 22 minutes into this contest already. Because both sides are playing such a fast-paced game, it is going to be an extremely quick contest between the teams, and it's going to fly by nicely, taken by Tupavai. Had a bit of a knee issue earlier on in the contest. Another flat run from Anton Leonard Brown, but he gets through the first defender. Now Tupavai, tackled by Kitioni Salawa. Cortez Ratama wants the ball, and it's an advantage now for the New Zealanders. Here comes Osafa Moore. Ratama And behind to McKenzie, thought about the skip pass, decides against it in the end. He's running sideways, McKenzie, but he now almost finds a gap. He's been tip-tackled there. It might be a penalty advantage already in play. Now another big run from Caleb Clark in the midfield, and they'll go back for the original penalty. He wasn't poached. He signed up to a pathways course. Says, Doctor, a few French players were caught misbehaving in Argentina. French rugby has terrible behavioural problems. And Anton Brown is actually on fire right now. Yeah, he's looking extremely strong at number 12 for this contest. Dodgers band form doesn't count. He shouldn't be in no matter how good he is. Says Spider Mick. Yeah, but he's done all right, though. Like, if you look through, I would still say that he's played better in both games than Dalton Papali'i. So, like, that's not a bad thing, and he's played better than Sama Penifino in both games. So I would argue that Savia, out of the three loose forwards, is the only one who has earned his spot heading into the Rugby Championship. Yeah, just a bit of a tip tackle there. Not sure what the plan was from Lakema Tangivalu. I know that he had 3 dominant tackles up against the Georgians, but I don't think that was from flipping them up. Anton Lineout and Proctor combo working well this far. Says Razor, you could tell when Savia said it's good to be back playing harder rugby in that way. Says Mr. Orlin, the same Japanese form that beat the Māori Abies. Says Joe Webby, D-Mac on a roll and Ratama and Leonard Brown if Fiji loses. I hope they lose the same way like Samoa did in the All Blacks 2015. They had a good game in Samoa. Says Mark, just one penalty going against both these sides at this stage of the contest, but there have been 3 handling errors from the All Blacks, so that is something that they will feel a little bit let down by at this stage of the match. Like they've just said, trying to get away from where the opposition 9 is defending for these two sides. So that might mean they go short side for Cortez Aratama, although there might be Lakema Tangivalu waiting on that short side. Here comes Savia off the back, short ball to Anton Leonard Brown. He's shut down by YC and Nai after Levu. Now Ratama again goes to Tupavai. Only 7 meters out from the line at the moment. Oh, Ratama with the bounce pass to Tupavai. We have there was the story with Richie Mo'unga. Will he be back for the Rugby Championship? I don't believe he will be, no. Because he is still playing. Oh, does he come back from Japan or does he not? I'm not actually too sure. That's great hands. Billy Proctor on debut scores the try for the All Blacks. Big smile on his face. Gets a big hug from Cortez Aratama, who had his debut last week. Come on, Sivu. On you now. And Proctor says Razor Robinson. And I feel another try for the All Blacks. A D-Mac on a roll. And Go Fiji says Mark Stadium full, pretty much full for this game by the looks of it. To Keith Quinn asked for his blazer back since last week, says Simon. He did not, but I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. I'd go between blazer, non-blazer. That is a great bit of backline work, though, from the All Blacks. Fiji, very compact in their defence. Unfortunately, ended up with the 2-on-3 again out wide. All Blacks better score 105. And this looks like, Lamani's got some sort of, I would say by the looks of that, that is a broken wrist for Frank Lamani. The way he was holding it like this, although his wrist wasn't, of course, down like that, but sitting there like that, looking like he was really trying to fight with that hand to keep it upright. The proctologist says, Fluffy, what's the score, or what's the live spectators count in San Diego? About 30,000 in attendance for this contest. But now, Damian McKenzie lining up this kick. And it's coming round slowly, just missing away to the right-hand side. So the score will remain at 19 points to 5 in favour of the All Blacks. Floodgates ain't. Here comes the Moses flood, says Doctor there. The big hugs to Billy Proctor. 27 minutes. Can Fiji fire back? Oh no, there might be shoulder actually for Lamani. Now, the way that they were showing him there, he's got either a dislocated shoulder or something's happened, but Kuravuli now is going to make his way onto the field. Anton Leonard Brown knocking that ball on. So will be now the scrum feed for the Fijians. Yeah, game is done and dusted, but we want to see quality throughout. The 60 minutes show discipline, says Xavier. Trust me, Fiji will win, says Trust. While that's bigger than the old US Eagles game, says Mark. And Proctor, Leonard Brown, D-Mac, locked in, Razor, era backline. And also we have got there, Lave eats pants, says Lave on his alternative account. Currently 8 turnovers conceded by the All Blacks throughout the early stages of this contest, 4 handling errors. So it hasn't actually been the smoothest performance. They've had some very good moments though. Perhaps it is because they're trying to play it at such a quick tempo that the mistakes have been coming. And now, at to feed this ball in, Simeone Kuravuli. The last time Fiji were in the same position, they managed to score themselves a crossfield kick. They've got the free kick now. Kuravuli takes the quick dab, and that's going to be knocked on from Tabua Val. Just a mistake in number 12. He's saying it went backwards. He's disappointed with it as well, Tabua Val. Fiji loses, I will eat bugs, says Trust. And also the laughing face there from Doctor. Tabua Val puts his hand up, apologises. I was confused at why I could hear commentary still, but it is because they had the commentary playing in the commentary booth, by the sounds of it. Yeah, they've got a monitor turned up too loud in the commentary box. You can actually hear the commentators in the background after they talk. Come on, remember this. Fiji says Mark, nice inside ball from Damien McKenzie. Very flat to Bowden Barrett, but it is play on. Here comes Proctor again. Looking for the offload. Manages to find Bowden Barrett. Down the short side, 25 metres out. Here comes Caleb Clark with the pick and go. Gets round one, but tackled by Lakima Tangi Valu. Savia plays halfback. Barrett pop pass there from Jacobson with some crisp handling there. Now losing his footing there. And now, nice inside ball. Caleb Clark gets it away to Ethan Blackadder. Run it straight, says Nev. It's not the Springboks. Says Mark. Nice attack and run from Nobody's dropped the ball there. Loose. But Fiji managed to get it inside of their 22. Great low tackle made from a Suffer Moore. Trying to make the counter attack there as Armstrong Ravula gets 5 metres out from the line. We have got there those no-look offloads, and Fiji better start throwing the ball around recklessly, how they normally play, says Trust. But it's now going to be... How are they 30 minutes in and they haven't realised they've got, like, the commentary playing twice through the headsets? Like, currently they're talking about a run from Proctor while they're setting a scrum. But Fletcher Null, he's had a decent start to this game. Mikey Williams in the front row, he's also done relatively well. I love even Blackadder to get those big levers wrapped around my lady bumps. Sears Razor. 31 minutes and we can already see Tamaiti Williams as well as Tupavai just drenched in sweat. It is hot in the USA for this game, about 24 degrees. Rico spread the haka. Much love from Central Auckland, says Champagne Lord. Welcome in. What's going on with Fiji scrum, says Albie. Unfortunately, just hasn't quite worked. Although, to be fair, they've won 2 scrums inside of their own 22, but that is a massive push from the All Blacks, and I believe that they will definitely consider the quick tap there. Ratama does want to take it quickly. It'd be 2-on-1, but they've decided against it in the end. Rico should lead the haka. I think, to be fair, Adi Savio, I thought, did pretty well. Looks like the All Blacks are going to kick this one towards the touchline rather than going for the possibility of the 3. Yeah, unfortunately just missing that hook for the Fijians. Good afternoon, Hamish, says Blues Nate. Welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. And I should mention, this is probably the front row for the All Blacks that have the best scrum in terms of their props. We have got the AFL, another try is coming for the ABs. I mean, they're only 5 metres out with a rolling maul, so if they didn't score, there would be something drastically wrong for the All Blacks. But well defended so far by the Fijians. Cortez Ratama trying to get that ball out, but Fiji are on it just like they normally are with Asoa, Nasila Sila, and Timo Mainavanua, and Fiji get the turnover. Some fantastic work from the flying Fijians right there. But now, it will once again be a 5-metre scrum that they have to try and deal with. Referee, please help us. Get your payback, England ref. Let's beat New Zealand. And maybe no, says Novamum there. But nicely done by the Fijians in the defence. I believe it was Timo Mainavanua came right through the middle and then just jumped on it. And the Mauls have been a problem for all teams over the season. Crazy. I think the last time Pacific Islands country caused some problems was Samoa in 2015. And also Mauls have been the problem. Who do you see at the top of the world rankings coming into the year? Probably still South Africa, I would say, will be at the top. They've got a really nice buffer. And probably, that's the thing. They'll probably be there at the top of 2024, but then that's when 2025, if Ireland do well in the Six Nations, that is where maybe they could find themselves at number one heading into the July internationals. That is just the possibility with how quickly you can change your rankings. Definitely with where England are on the overall rankings, where France are. Those would be two massive wins for Ireland. I got my commentary, my volume off on my TV, listening to your commentary, says Robert. Thank you very much, mate. It is greatly appreciated. You're being here for this game. Currently 8 minutes away from half-time in this matchup. This English TMO should be razor focused on the All Blacks. Your pronunciation of Fijian's name is on point, says Tennessee. Thank you very much. And again, Damien's aimless kicking. It's ridiculous that he's still in the team, says Oldsworld. I guess you didn't watch the first 20 minutes of this game. You would have seen McKenzie set up Caleb Clark's try. I think McKenzie also assisted one of the other tries that were scored. Yes, there's the occasional kick downfield, but at the moment, the only kick that he did just before was kicking it into touch so that they could have a line out. We have got there's the weather hot for today's AB's game. It's about 24 degrees, so a lot warmer than we are seeing in New Zealand. And Ratama has the best passing game. Christian Perenara passing is not great, too slow, says Mark. And England are looking good. They'll win the Six Nations again, says LB. And we have got there, if the ABs beat the Box in the Rugby Championship, does that put the Box at number 2? I don't think so. I think the All Blacks would still be 2 at that point, or they would go up to 2, and then Springboks would still be number 1, I do believe. We have there, Caleb Clark needs to grow some balls. In what regard, would you say? Fiji have missed 22 tackles throughout the early stages of this contest, they have just mentioned. Ladies and gentlemen, will the Heat favour the Fijians? I believe so, maybe later on in the contest, but the tempo that's being played at the moment, I think would definitely favour the All Blacks because they do pride themselves on that gas tank, being able to go deep in a game. They've got 5 debutants off the bench, so they want to make sure that they set them up quite nicely to be able to play their natural game. We have got there, stream the game, ya ugly. We have got there from Quaylen, find the game, ya dumb. It's another option. Of course, there are plenty of ways of watching this game. You just need one brain cell to be able to find it. 7 minutes still remaining in this first half. Mark Rutherford exactly. Perenara wasn't too bad, but Christie still afraid to attack, says Joe Webby. And that's the thing, Ratama, we saw that there just around the side of the breakdown when he scored his earlier try. He was willing to go for it. That is a free kick now to the All Blacks. That is not what Fiji would have wanted. ABs need to get the ball out to the hot back line. Trust Rico Dum Dum is learning from a world-class centre, Billy Proctor. Positional play IQ and silky skill. We have got there is little Nicky on the bench this game. Or Nicky Little. Who is that? Actually a savage. Says Trust. Oh, that's a Savia try. Pick and go around the side. Suffer a big smile on his face when he ended up seeing Savia go over his Hurricanes teammate. 6 minutes left. We have got there with my one cell. I can visualize the game based on this fella's quality commentating. Artie Savia's second try of 2024. Suffer more with a quick tap and thrown himself at the try line. And then just little pop pass up from Ratama. Gets it into the hands of Savia. Nice vision from the All Blacks. And a bit of ruthlessness from the ABs. That scrum call was asked. Every 9 throws it in like that. That is true. We have got the EFU, says Quaylen there. And do you reckon Savia will play for Moana Pacifica? There are rumours, but I don't know. I feel like that would be Moana Pacifica's whole budget gone if they sign Artie Savia. Unless he's willing to take a massive pay cut. I don't really see it happening because I assume the Hurricanes are playing him or paying him pretty favourably. Same with Japan. Now, Damien McKenzie to line up this kick. And it does get it down the middle. Who are Australia playing tonight? They are going to be playing up against the Georgians. That game has taken place in about 2 hours, 50 minutes or so. I know I'm trying to see the bro. Play bro, says Quaylen. Depends on where you are, though. You didn't tell me where you were. If you tell me where you are, I can tell you what your options are. But I have no idea. You could be in China. You could be in Spain. You know, I'm watching it with binoculars, says that guy. Going to be kicked off now. Nicely taken by Scott Barrett. Fiji bench will turn things around, says Trust. And I mean, we've already seen Simeone Kuravuli had to make his way onto the field. And that is due to the injury of Frank Lamani. Looked like a injury in Osbro, but I'm not at home. Do you have Stan Sport? Because they have got an app, which you would be able to, I assume, watch this game through if you did have it on your phone. Or you go to like a pub or something. Surely a pub or something around the area would have this game on the TV. Sports bar, some sort. Now Anton Leonard-Brown passes on the outside. Goes to Billy Proctor inside Portaratima, who almost got through. But moving up to 22 metres out and then has dropped the ball. Counter-attack coming now for the Fijians. Abe's on fire. Moana and Draw. Don't have Savia or top player money. I haven't seen 13 play before. He's a unit, says LB. But the penalty does go the way of the Fijians for not rolling away. It's going against Billy Proctor there. It's on Kiwi lads in Australia, and Fiji should just start throwing the ball around. They play the best game when they're loose. Oh, this looks bad for Ethan Blackadder. I know we talk about the fact that, oh no, that might be Ratima actually. Cortez Ratima neck injury by the looks of this. He's getting taps on the knees. I thought it was Blackadder. That's bad to me because, of course, like, he already ends up with quite a few injuries. But Noah Hotham, I think, is about to make his way onto the field. The halfbacks for New Zealand are running really slim at the moment. We're going to see it now. He just kind of crunches his neck, unfortunately, Cortez Ratima, when he lands. Boom, hits his head hard. And that looks pretty ugly for him. How many nines are New Zealand down now? Well, they are down 4. And total now is at the pub all night. Well, at least you know where it is, so surely you go back there and you'll be able to watch the game, won't you? Just maybe go to a different one, or else they'll be like, oh, yeah, you again. And you'll be like, yep, sorry. And looking forward to the second half. Let's go D-Max, says Chris and Jenny. And we have got the All Blacks need Aaron Smith to come out of retirement, says Trust. Oh, yeah, they're going to have to dig deep into their halfback stocks, depending on what the severity is of this injury. I don't think it would be more than a concussion, or at least I'm hoping it's not, but they are still waiting to get Ratima off the field. I believe they're worried about his neck here. He'll be concussed. That's a hard pitch. Yeah, he still hasn't really moved much. Cortez Ratima. He can move his hands. He's about to be taken back to his feet, so that is good news for the All Blacks. Looks like an AFL sting tackle on Ratima. They will call up Pakatava. And also go the AB, says Grace Howie. And there as well. Right, they've got him back up to his sitting base. So that is good news for Cortez Ratima here. And hopefully it is nothing more serious than just a big knock to the head. And like they've mentioned, like, you're in that scenario of, unfortunately, like, it's such a hard surface. So you can't really afford to lead with your head, at least down on the ground, or else you will end up with that really hard shot coming in, like Cortez Ratima did end up getting. But he is back to his feet by the looks of it. Noah Hotham now will make his way onto the field for his debut, ladies and gentlemen. That's actually dangerous, says Xavier. If Fakatawa will join. Is that an NFL ground? I believe it is. Yes, I'm watching the game on ESPN. We got it on mute because your commentary is way better, says Ben. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. We got a few nines that I'm expecting a call from Raisin now. Or we got so few nines, I should say, from that guy in Fiji in there from Champagne Lord. And college football, says USA Rugby League and Union fan. Well, I'll tell you what, if anyone was to know it, it would be someone with a name like that. Welcome in. Hope you are keeping well. 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Now Tavita Ikanaveri to throw it in for New Zealand. Jacobson almost getting the turnover, but not quite able to get it there. Now, tack and run coming forward from Kitioni Salawa. Sitting about 40 metres away from the line now, the Fijians. Good tackle made by Proctor, driving Tangi Valu backwards. Motitu with the pick and go. And every time they hit the track at the moment, you can see a little bit of sand or dust or something comes up. Nice wide cut out pass to Kitioni Salawa. Almost gets through Reese, but Hotham manages to help his Crusaders teammate in finishing off the tackle. Kuravuli goes to Radradra. Now up the middle. Viliami Mata. Radradra again. Inside ball to Kuravuli. Oh, Barrett hanging on by fingertips there. But Tavita Kanaveri is 5 metres out from the try line. Kuravuli in behind. There's going to be the advantage. Quick hands from Fiji. Can they get in for the corner? Potitu. And that is possibly the try for Jita Wanyanyolo, but they will check the feet to make sure he's still in the field of play. Fiji is leading at the moment on playing Rugby Challenge. CS Trust and Fakatava in for the call-up. And also we've got there many from USA watching what's crowd numbers. About 30,000, I believe, they have got for this contest. And many from USA. Oh no, I read that one. Don't know. You guys have a number 9. In Japan, says LB. And no top team test our ABs yet. I would disagree. I would say England in those first 2 matches certainly tested the All Blacks. Oh, is he high there, Damien McKenzie? I think... Oh, we almost dropped a Jita Wanyanyolo, but I think he just got that one down. Oh, Hotham, Nigel's boy, well done. Says Inari. Does he get the grounding? Oh, I think he's going to be saved by the fact that Damien McKenzie's body is in the way. We're going to see the replay, though, here. McKenzie tried to drag him towards the touchline. Oh, I think there's separation there for Jita Wanyanyolo. We need another angle. I think most of them have been covered by McKenzie. Yes, I'm in the USA and dropped it, says LB. We're going to see it there. Yeah, that is separation. It is going to be no try for Jita Wanyanyolo. But is it a high shot from Damien McKenzie? Is his hand on the shoulder the thing that stopped the try from being scored? It's going to be a goal line dropout by the sounds of it here. And Dan Buller says Blues native soft defence, Damien. I mean, he did enough, though. It's no try. And Fiji playing 7 style. And no try, but wow, and All Blacks still too good. Says Taney there. Okay, there's no clear pressure on the ball, says Matthew Carley. I think Fiji was still asking for the penalty. Oh no, they were asking for the try in general. Guys, call the number 9. Oh, who's been playing in Japan? Or can't you guys call the number 9? I mean, Aaron Smith, if you're talking Brad Weber. Brad Weber's been in France, hasn't he? Maybe they'll have to make an emergency SOS to him. Penalty try for high tackle, says Annoy. Not in the end. They did say it is play on. Nicely taken. However, there, Jita Wanyanyolo is pronounced Chuta Wanyanyolo, says Trust. And Fiji Rob says that guy. And yeah, we are. But Fiji improving. So they can take the rest of the world on. And Weber, yeah, my bad. I thought he was in Japan. Oh, no, he might be in Japan, actually. You might be right. He was in France at one point playing for Stade Francais, but I'm not sure whether he is still there, running it back there from inside of his 22. Damien McKenzie almost ran straight at Scott Barrett. That would have halted his momentum extremely quickly. Hotham going off to the right-hand side here. Anton Leonard-Brown goes almost through. He sits down. Viliami Mata looks a little bit wobbly on his feet after that shot. Who scored the try? Says Tristan for the All Blacks. We've seen Cortez Ratama, Adi Savia. We've seen Caleb Clark. And also Billy Proctor, nicely taken by Vilamoni Boatitu near the touchline, gets the offload on the inside. Lakima Tangi Valo dropped by Koravoli. Big shots coming in on a Hotham by Kitioni Salawa. One moment, I'm about to sneeze again, so I'll quickly mute for half a second. We are good. Caleb Clark, very close to the touchline on the halfway line, throw the ball around Fiji, says Trust. And then for the Fijians, there was one try scored, and that was by Vilamoni Botitu, who managed to get that one. Leonard Brown again, going off to Tupavai, his Chiefs teammate. There is a penalty advantage in favour of the All Blacks here. Viliami Mata looking a little bit rough. Oh, he has to get back up to his feet, though, to make that tackle. Some great work from that man. We want to hear a sneeze. Clear separation, no try. Specsavers having a sail, get in there. Says Thorfinn, although also that was a bit high from McKenzie, so I feel like that is something that maybe they did miss a little bit, riding up on the shoulder. There wasn't thinking about fried chicken until now. Says Fluffy. Oh, yeah, that'd go all right, actually, a bit of chicken. It's going to be on halfway, and it's going to be very close to half-time in this contest. Go the All Blacks, says Bill. Last 5 penalties. We've seen 3 against the Fijians, 2 against the All Blacks. You see what you want to see. Says that guy. And Tyrese coming up. Says Moss. What's your name? Says Bill. My name is Hamish. Bill, nice to meet you. I just had KFC oops. Says LB, and yeah, true. I don't think it was high until the replay, says Thorfinn, and Fiji's speed is amazing, and Proctor is a natural in the black jersey. He belongs, what a fighter, says Trust going to be thrown in. Barrett gets it over the top, but that is Tavita Iknaveri, who has ended up with possession of the ball. Now back across, Simeone Kuravoli. Getting it away now in the midfield to Buavau. He's picked up by Savi and dropped there. That is a big shot and a lot of physicality coming from Savi. I think that was knocked on by Mighty Williams. Yes, it was. And that will be the end of the half, ladies and gentlemen. 26 points to 5 at halftime. What is a weekend stream without chicken commentary? Says Katsanel. And good ground for Naroa to show his magic. And also thanks, man, says Bill. And also Clark Ratama, Proctor, and Savi are the try scorers, says Juicy. And then Petitu for the Fijian. Awesome All Blacks first half. What stadium are they playing in? Is it a university stadium? So it is a college football stadium, from what I have heard in the chat, in San Diego for this matchup. And we have also got there, having homemade fish and chips, says that guy. Sounds all right. Proctor's starting at a Rico from now on in every game, says Trust. I honestly think he has to. Like we're seeing in this game, yes, it's up against the Fijians, which possibly has given a bit more space for the All Blacks to be able to work. But at the same time, Rico has been underperforming for the last few months. For Super Rugby, he wasn't quite doing it. He hasn't scored a try for the Blues in over 400 days. What do you think of the lineouts first half, says the Wallaby? I think that they were relatively competitive. The All Blacks looked a bit stronger in their lineout than they did up against the English. Biased refereeing, says Waitana. In terms of what direction, Waitana, out of curiosity. And I hope Ratama is okay, says Mark. And picking a blanket for me. And we are completely disjointed. This is not how we play rugby. It's too loose. And I got you, bro, says that guy, and I'm having pizza and watching the game. And Anton and Billy Proctor doing good. Prefer Proctor over Rico, says Blues Nate. Yeah, I feel like Proctor's had a really, really strong performance here. And coaches, loving the Akai Kiwi lad. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Coaches Inc. New Zealand. Do you have a YouTube channel of some sort, Coaches Inc., that you do coaching on, I assume? Possibly. If you do, I have to check it out. Garlic bread is goated. Garlic bread is great, isn't it? It's just a very good option for a snack. Looking through at some of the stats, though, for this first half. Sure do. Yeah, I have to give you a look. One moment. Before I get these stats, we'll go Coaches Inc. One moment. Oh, that needs a space. I misspelled one of the words, but hopefully it still comes out. You do have a channel. There it is. There we go. I hit subscribe on your channel for you. And Proctor giving Frank Bunce vibes. A's fives not straight. And also Rico is a defensive machine though. Proctor not so much. And too easy for us, says Bob Money. And hey, Sweet P. If Cortez is out, we've got a Slim picking at 9 bugger. Says distracted. Yeah, we got limited options at the moment for New Zealand. Like in terms of the next backup, it would end up being Folau Fakatava. And then who's the next backup after that? Probably would be someone like a Sam Knock or who else have they got that they could bring in? Like an older player, like a Mitchell Drummond, or who else in New Zealand is playing rugby at 9 anyway? Who's the Hurricanes' third choice 9? I've been watching you for the last few years. You're progressing so well. Congrats, these coaches in New Zealand. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. I'm going fishing after this, says Bill. Is it pronounced the Seine, that river in Paris, I mean? I think it's Seine, isn't it? I could be wrong. Bring back Aaron Smith. Your live commentary is excellent, says coaches. Thank you very much. And also we have got there, what do you mean? You think Proctor can't defend? Bruh, what you on about? Says Trust. And there as well. But looking through at these stats for this first half, your beard has grown older throughout the years. Now, cut your pa'al brother, says Doctor. I do not know what that is. I'm going fishing for chicken at the store. It's a good call. But now looking through at these stats. For the first half possession, 57% in favour of the All Blacks, 59% for the territory in this match. New Zealand having 308 running metres compared to the 205 that we saw for Fiji. So even though Fiji haven't had too many opportunities, they have still made quite a few metres along the way. Triple T, says Joe Webby, or maybe Xavier Rowe if you're looking at Chiefs players as the options. Defenders beaten 27 for the All Blacks and 8 for the Fijians. 6 clean breaks for the All Blacks compared to the 4 of the Fijians. And also in terms of tackles made, New Zealand tackling at 85%, 46 off 54 attempts. And then also for the Fijians, we have seen 58 tackles made from 85 attempts. So we'll start to see a little bit of fatigue setting in, I would think, by the end of this contest. Fiji have only won 3 of their 5 scrums. They've only won 2 of their 4 lineouts. So set piece is letting down the Fijians. Lineout still need work. I mean, New Zealand are 8 from 9 at lineout time. So I would say it's come a long way in the last little while. Glad to be back. Hamish, there's Ty in there. Welcome back, mate. And we have got there as well. I thought Fakatava was Smith's apprentice and would step into that role when Smith retired. Says that guy, yeah, although they just haven't seemed to back him in terms of for international rugby lately for Fakatava. And we have got there, I did foresee this, 26-5 at half time, but then 26-27 at the end. I saw it in a vision, says Trust. Excited to see the new bot faces later tonight, says LB. Yeah, they got a few new players moving in there. Morne Vandenberg off the bench. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in that 9 jersey. I know a few people are asking for Faf de Klerk to get less minutes, so maybe if Vandenberg has a great game off the bench and Reinach starts well, maybe we see him slowly go down to those rankings a little bit more. Rico on form is our 13. Do you / everyone feel Proctor starting for a few games could ignite Rico? See, that's the thing though. I feel like in terms of that first sentence, Rico on form, I think it's Rico on name value is our 13. I would say based off form, Proctor and Leonard Brown both had better seasons of Super Rugby Pacific. So you're in that scenario that I feel like Rico, either way, he will see this game and go, I need to improve, because at the moment there are 2 men who are both playing better rugby than me who can both take that jersey from me if I don't start playing a little bit better. Rico is versatile, as an elite mullet, says that guy. I mean, there was a patch of the All Blacks that you could only score tries if you had a mullet. We have the unpopular opinion, but Rico should have stayed on the wing, says LB. And of course, it is very hard to tell what could have happened if Rico was out on that wing the whole time throughout his career. Who knows? Maybe, that's the thing. Could he have ended up with a serious injury, and then we wouldn't have still had Rico Ioane in the All Blacks? We just don't know what could have been, but maybe he got an extra 50 tries for the All Blacks. Who knows? So Proctor to start. See how Rico responds, says coaches. I don't feel Rico will get any better. What you see is what you get, says Lovey. I would say there is still room for improvement for Rico. It's just whether or not he wants it. Because I feel like that man has enough talent that he's been able to breeze through the last year or so. With Super Rugby, the Blues won. So he didn't really need to do too much more for the All Blacks. He knew that he was going to be more than likely with 13, so he didn't have to go to that next level. Whereas players like Proctor and Leonard Brown, they know that this is their chance to take that 13 jersey. Rico to the Warriors, says Hanoi. And we have got their Fiji paying $90 to win. That is quite impressive, isn't it? And Rico is useless. He's a defensive machine. He's absolute liability at 13. And Geordie are a huge reason why the All Blacks over the past 3 years have struggled so much, says Scrotimus. Steak and kidney pie is the best, says Doctor. And I hope the halfback is okay. Scored an injured on debut, or starting debut. For him, he was playing off the bench last week. But yeah, between the 2 All Blacks halfbacks, they only have 1 cap of experience and about 25 minutes of game time. If Nalian Mape was at 12, he would make any 13 look good, says Kanye Ketchup. Interesting name. New Zealand, says Swebu there. And the wingers outside of Rico have scored plenty of tries. Jordan scored 31 tries outside of Rico. And also we've got their Fiji is holding well. They will turn the game around, says Masaki. And also, when will Josh Lord and Will Jordan be available for selection? Will Jordan, I think, is mid-rugby championship, I believe, if I'm correct. And then Josh Lord, I don't think is available till November, but I could be wrong there. But these are the benches, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of players off the bench for New Zealand on debut. George Bell being one of them. And number 16. The question is, will they bring him on early so that he's alongside his 2 Crusaders teammates, or will they bring on the whole bench at the same time? More than likely it would be the replacement of all 3 simultaneously. Sam Derry, Wallace Satiti, both getting themselves debuts in this matchup, with Noah Hotham at number 21 already out there on the field due to the injury of Cortez Ratama, Geordie Barrett at 22, and Amoni Narawa there as the number 23 for the Fijians. Cyril Togiatama at 16, Hireti Hitit at 17, and Samu Tawake as number 18. Albert Tuisui as well as Tana Kaivata will both bring physicality for the Fijians off the bench. Kuravuli also already on, so both 9s who started this game are both injured at this stage. Caleb Muntz and Sareli Mangwala there at number 23. Jacobson looks good, yeah. He looks like he could take that 6th jersey. Are there no grass pitches in the USA? Rugby should not be played on fully artificial pitch. At least have a mixed pitch, says LB. And Caleb Muntz is good, says Hanoi. And Narawa comes on, and Satiti. And played well too, says that guy. And there are heaps of comments about the singer on Facebook, says Blue Hair. Yeah, it was a bit of a unique national anthem, I would say. But, you know, New Zealand doesn't seem like it affected them. They're still sitting with a 21-point lead. I'm trying to remember what my score prediction was for this game. I think it said 42-12 or 42-15, something along those lines, which is still well and truly possible. A long-term forecast, Clark goes to league after the next World Cup. Says drink on the moon. It'll be interesting to see which players end up going to league. I know that for Australian rugby at the moment, they've lost Mark Nwanganetawasi as well as Carter Gordon to league, although they're gaining Suali'i is going to be going from league to rugby. So be interesting to see how that goes. Tuning in from Danny Dolans, says Winter in there. And also we've got the Artie is good at leading the haka. Didn't see the anthems. Was it a garbage fight? It was a soprano rendition of the All Blacks national anthem. So it was quite high, quite methodical in terms of the pace of it. I would try and do it myself, but I think that would break most of your eardrums, and I don't want to get sued, so we won't be doing that. It's apparently doing well in the 7s, says Hanoi there, and we need to see Sam Darry. Lineouts is a problem, says Mark. What about it is the problem, though? Because when we look through at the stats in this game, the All Blacks have won 8 out of their 9 lineouts and stolen 2 against the Fijian throw. So what's the problem there? We have got there Proctor and Leonard Brown now. The new AB's duo, Reece Walsh for the All Blacks. I love this midfield combo. Says Ride for Ruin. And there as well. We are not too far away from the second half getting underway, ladies and gentlemen. If you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Of course, we have got plenty more rugby coming in the near future. The next game for the All Blacks taking place in around 20 days' time. That will be a part of the Rugby Championship that is up against the Argentines. Of course, the rest of the Rugby Championship is before these games, but then the November internationals up against Ireland, France, Italy, and England will all bring plenty of excitement. But for the Fijians, their next contest, it will be up against the Samoans in 34 days' time. Scotland, Wales, and Ireland is what is around the corner for Fiji in the November internationals. But there are plenty of great games still to come throughout the Pacific Nations Cup as well as the Rugby Championship. We will be covering them on the channel. Clearly for the All Blacks, it'd be eligible too, says that guy. So far so good for the All Blacks, and imagine if Artie moved to 13 like back in his school days. It's over for everyone. So Australia game is in an hour after this one finishes, says LB. Pretty much, or an hour and a half, I think. So it's going to be a 6 p.m. kickoff, I believe, for us here in New Zealand. They always say 15 minutes earlier, but we've fallen for that before, and they end up just not actually starting at the right time. Did you see the Baby Blacks game against Ireland? They played really well. I did. I stayed up late to be able to watch that contest. Also watched England versus Ireland, and then ended up going to sleep, getting a few hours, and then we're up for the day here. We have got, can you put the try scorers on the screen, please? I could, but I could also just tell you them. So far, there has been a try from Caleb Clark, Adi Savia, Cortez Ratama, and also Billy Proctor. And then for the Fijians, we've seen the one try for Vilimoni Botitu, who has scored. Fiji will easily beat Samoa, says Trust, who won the game between Wales and the Reds. It was a last-minute thriller, and in the end, Wales managed to get themselves a victory. But that was a fantastic game. If you have access to it, I would highly recommend checking it out, because it was a pretty awesome one. Hey, tough game, but awesomely fast ball release by the All Blacks. There's Polar there. And yeah, they've been looking strong throughout this game so far. The All Blacks, they've been quick. They have made a few errors along the way. Like, they've conceded quite a few turnovers, but that is to be expected when you're playing at this kind of tempo. Great game, says Samuel. Yeah, it's been a great showcase of rugby for the fans in the USA. I'd love to see a bit of a Fiji comeback coming in the second half, just to really intensify the drama of this game. But yeah, the All Blacks, they have been the strongest side throughout the first 40, and it's whether or not they can do so throughout the second 40 minutes of the game as well. Nonetheless, we are getting close to the second half in this contest. Joe Proctor is running. Is running at everyone, unafraid. He's fighting for that jersey. What happened to Lamani, says Young Boys. Unfortunately, it looked like a shoulder injury for Lamani, which is bad news for the ABs. Of course, they would have loved to still have him, for Fiji, would have still loved to have him out there on the field. But yeah, it's not looking too good for Frank Lamani's shoulder. Hopefully he'll be back, though, for the Pacific Nations Cup when it does end up taking place. One moment, we will go like this. We will go like that as well. Any other important stats for this first half? I mean, we've seen some great performers for the All Blacks in terms of who has been able to really stand up and cement themselves in those jerseys. I think Proctor at 13 is going to be a very good option for the All Blacks in the future. Alongside him, I think that we've seen some great work coming from Anton Lineout at 12. You know, him versus Barrett in that 12 jersey could also be one that is hotly contested as we head towards the Rugby Championship. But the All Blacks, they had more running meters, they had more defenders beaten, they had more clean breaks. They made less tackles, so that is going to be beneficial for them. But Fiji missing 27 throughout that first half, I think, is really a big concern for them heading towards the next contest. But now Armstrong Ravula is about to kick this one off for the Fijians to get us underway for another half of rugby in San Diego. Here comes Armstrong Ravula, ready to kick this one off for the second 40. We're just waiting for someone. I'm not sure who we're waiting for. There we go. Matthew Carley has now blown his whistle, and we are back underway for this matchup. Just kicking at the 10 meters or so nicely over the top of one of the Kiwis, and that is going to be a knock-on advantage against New Zealand right at the start of the second half. Pakatava kicking game hasn't been good this season, says Dave. Anton Lineout looking very good at 12, making a good ground through the tackles, making Geordie look like a little boy, says Scramotus. Although, to be fair, we haven't seen Geordie Barrett back out on the field up against Fiji yet. So if Geordie Barrett comes off the bench and has just as much impact, maybe we know that it's more this game than so much as just Leonard Brown's performance. But I think he's still been extremely strong throughout this one. Looking forward to Samoa versus Fiji, and we are going to be covering the whole competition on the channel as well, ladies and gentlemen. Why is Scott constantly dropping the ball? To be fair, in that case, there was a man who jumped up in front of him who was supposed to catch it, and then it just went over the top, so he wouldn't have been expecting to have to catch that ball, so that's probably why didn't go well. That's a penalty to New Zealand. Scrum time for Fiji has not gone very well at all, unfortunately. Looks like McKenzie once again going to kick this one towards the touchline. Sounds like Samu Tawake has actually made his way onto the field for Masaki Donge, who did have that injury in the first half. It's being played like an exhibition match, says Ian Rhodes. No breakdancer for Razor today, says Trust. Nah, probably not. And All Blacks all the way, says Aotearoa. Now, here comes the line-out throw of Asafo Amor. Goes over the top. Jacobson takes it nicely. Now, McKenzie. Get away to, once again, Anton Lineout, who's done extremely well throughout that first half. Adi Savia now pumping his legs. He gets away from 2. Moves into 15 metres from the Fijian try line. Pop pass up to Tupavai. Hotham getting that ball out quickly to Caleb Clark, who tried to straighten with his run. Now, Safa Moore gets through one tackle attempt. Unfortunately, there's been too many misses from the Fijian so far. Hotham with the pick and go around the side of the breakdown. And off his feet was Tangi Valu, and the penalty goes the way of New Zealand. 4. Oh, that's not actually going to be against Tangi Valu. It's going to be offside against Asoa Nasilasila. And Fiji what happened, but I do say they try their hardest. Do you get carpet burn on artificial turf? Depends on the turf that you play on. I know that there's been times when in the sevens, we've actually seen the kind of like the players have elbow and also knee padding. The backline needs good passing halfback. That's why the backline hasn't been great against England. Ratama definitely helped us. Says Mark. And New Zealand 21 looks like a young Tom Cruise. Says LB. And also we get the New Zealand have black jerseys and white collars. Fiji have white jerseys and black collars. There you go. Both wearing black shorts too. And different boot sponsors for both sides, which is nice to see. The All Blacks got them Adidas shiny silver ones. Morning from South Africa, says Eben. Now Noah Hotham putting this ball in. New Zealand opting for the scrum rather than the line-out. They have had some good scrum dominance throughout this game. Ardie Savia now going to the short side, tackled by Kitione Salawa, as well as two other Fijian players. Look like maybe Tawake got Savia a bit high there, as he was a fall into the ground. Nice short ball from Ethan Blackadder. Goes away to Barrett. Hotham now. Cross to Anton Leonard-Brown, lined up by Tabuaval. And even afternoon, here in New Zealand, says Spider Meg. Now Tupawai tries to pick and go around the side of the breakdown. Hotham going across. McKenzie to Leonard-Brown. Proctor, quick hands, out to Reese. And he will score the try as well for the All Blacks. And at 5:40 here in South Africa, here's Eben. Of course, the game between the Portuguese and South Africa, only less than 12 hours away. L team, says PGF. And also, I got my Clark Proctor and Sivu Beus, says Mr. Orlin. Yeah, nice attack and run through the side. Pick and goes from the All Blacks coming often in this contest. And then Leonard-Brown, quick hands from Proctor, gets it out to Sevu Reese. Do you know if there's no KFC ads? I didn't see a KFC ad in between the two halves, although that may have been because we were in a different tab at that point. But anytime they try and show us KFC, we just get hungry, unfortunately. All we need is for the ref to give Proctor and Anton Leonard-Brown red cards each, and then it will be fair. And imagine it would be like playing on a ground in Central Otago during a hoarfrost. Patient, try that, says Fluffy. Cheers, Doctor, says Mr. Orlin. Now McKenzie smiling at the sticks. And ready to line up another kick here for the All Blacks. And he's got it over. Fantastic conversion from Damian McKenzie, making the score now 33 points in favour of the All Blacks and 5 for the Fijians. Now the big question, of course, is going to be, how many points do the All Blacks get throughout this half? They're getting a few at the moment. But can they get a few more on top of that one moment? There we go. Looking at the odds, Fiji have not been given a chance. I was just checking, and it's a bit of a shame. But, of course, that's another knock-on, I think, from New Zealand off the kickoff. Oh, no, they've said it's gone backwards. Leonard-Brown now off to Caleb Clark, showing off the pace. Beautiful pass, but it's just at the fingertip of the Fijian player. I think they need to check that. Yep, now it's going to be a New Zealand line-out. It's confirmed backline for the AB. Sandari as best out of jumpers in New Zealand, says Mark. Although, like I said, the line-out hasn't been bad this game. I know that the line-outs up against England were a bit poor, but the All Blacks have only lost one line-out in this contest, and they have stolen 2 line-outs. So, you know, it hasn't been a bad day at the office for the ABs when it comes to their line-out for today. Nicely taken by Jacobson at the back of the line-out, adding another one into the successful column. Big fan from Blackadder. Thought about his offload, but will instead run it up to the 22. Hotham going off to the right-hand side. Clark was ready for it, but gets it away to Savia instead. Now Hotham, Vai, nice pop pass up to Luke Jacobson, who almost had that ball stripped, and it almost became a maul as well there. In fact, that ball is trapped in. Fiji will get the ball now. I don't think Fiji can up the notch. Stuck at 5 and end at 5. I think they'll get 1 or 2 more tries. Definitely as this game becomes more open, there will be more potential. Their line-out isn't poor here because Fiji's line-out is poor as well, says Trust. And there as well. But currently 33 minutes left in this game. For anyone wondering what the next game is that we are covering on the channel, it is going to be Georgia versus Australia. That one is scheduled to start in around 2 hours' time. We will be live on the channel for that contest. Also alongside that, we've got South Africa versus Portugal. That will be taking place in the middle of the night. And all throughout next week and the week after, we will have our previews of what we think will be the squads for the Rugby Championship, as well as the announcements alongside, as well as that, a special video maybe if we do hit 50,000 subscribers. We've got something planned. We're working on it very soon. Oh, that looks like an injury here for Kitione Salawa. That is not good news for the Fijians or the Fijian drawer. If it is a serious one, it looks like something in the lower leg for him here. So he's going to get some cold spray on the calf or on the shin bone. Hopefully he is going to be all right. They are just showing Anton Leonard-Brown in terms of players who have taken their opportunities here. Got some great running throughout this game, Leonard-Brown. I should also mention we're doing the Olympics next week for the sevens, where New Zealand, Fiji, Samoa, South Africa, Kenya, Australia, Ireland, France, etc. are all going to be playing off in that competition. Leonard Brown, he's had 6 defenders beaten. He's had 33 metres gained, but a lot of those metres have been hard fought. But looking very good with that McKenzie and Ratama combo. The question is, how serious is Ratama's injury, though? Hopefully he's still going to be there for the Rugby Championship, which I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Have they announced the date that the All Blacks will be announcing their Rugby Championship squad as of yet? I assume it will be in the coming weeks. How's Scott going? Once again, he's had a game. You know, he's been out there on the field, but he hasn't done too much out. I'll be honest, Beauden Barrett's been extremely quiet in this game. They've hardly had to use him. He's just tried to chip and chase and has a lost position. But, yeah, overall, hardly seen the man throughout the back line. Now, nice work from Blackadder. Eventually dragged down Lekema Tangi Valu Koravoli. Now going off Samu Tawake. Low tackle attempted on Semi Radradra, who goes through, gets his offload away to Tavedik and Averi with some brilliant attacking meters. BMA now from Fiji. Radradra missed his offload that he could have gone to Kitioni Salawa, but they have now got the penalty. He's been playing, running around a bit. Says Fluffy there. Yeah, he hasn't really done anything crazy. He's done decent at line-out time. That's a knock-on from Waisianai Levu, but they will go back for the original penalty for the Fiji. I think that's going to be against Tamaiti Williams for being offside. A good running from Semi Radradra. Beauden Barrett hiding in the shadows after an epic England match. As Tuisava injured? I believe so, yes. But yeah, Beauden, he hasn't really had to do anything in this game per se. Not a huge amount anyway. Not long left. Or how long left? Currently 31 minutes left in this contest. Come forward. Says Winter there. Now, going to be kicking this one towards the touchline for Armstrong Rivula. I feel like New Zealand are in a position now that they can afford to make some subs very soon. There's no point not giving these guys on debut 30 minutes. I wouldn't understand it if they did. Because that's the whole point of this game, is to give those guys an opportunity. It's their chance to show you what they can do heading into the Rugby Championship. So, you got to give them more than 5 minutes at the end of the contest. So I'd like to think that New Zealand would make some changes very soon. And behind there, nicely picked up by Vilamonibo T2. Still there for Fiji. Kuravolia hard by Blackadder. Now, Wananyolo. Sitting there on the halfway line, gets his offload away to Vilamonibo T2. Bring on the new boys, says Mark. And All Blacks should try playing the last 30 with 14 men. Says Doctor, and 100% changes for the newbies. Says coaches. Now nice run from Kitioni Salawa. Didn't get his offload, and in the process of trying to, did end up knocking that ball on. It's come out the back for Noah Hotham. Now across, Scott Barrett gets it to a Safua Moore. Pins his ears back. That's a knee. I think that was an awkward landing for a Safua Moore. Is he alright? He doesn't look too flash. Unfortunately, the way that he fell, it was just sideways, and he just kind of tweaked the knee. This is another injury. That's probably the perfect time to take a Moore off the field. Tossi is a beast. Says Juicy Right. Ethan de Groot is now coming out onto the park. If he's the only change they're making, I would find that extremely dumb. But I think it is. Yeah, so they're bringing on the one guy with experience onto the field. When are they going to try out the young guys? We're going to see it here. Unfortunately, the way that he fell there, suffer more, just tweaks the knee on the way down. How Semi Radradra looking for Fiji. He has been very strong when he has touched the ball. Hello, says Marius, welcome in, and Tossi is a beast. And bet they all go to an In-N-Out burger after this, says Fluffy. Yeah, a few different fast food chains in America than you do get here in New Zealand, so they want to make the most of it. He's okay, those knees can hold up Atlas. He shoulders the globe. Says Doctor. It was almost a sentence. Now an advantage again for New Zealand at scrum time. Hotham getting away to Leonard Brown McKenzie, trying the cross kick. Goes out to Caleb Clark now, who will put in a chip of his own. Trying to find some open space, but it sits up there for Vilamonibo T2. Looking for the offload. Clark takes it back. Oh, he's done a forward roly-poly and puts a fend in, but they're going back for something a long time ago. What's this for? This can't be at scrum penalty, can it? That's the longest advantage. Yeah. Oh, yeah, scrum going down. That was like 5 minutes ago. Well, not literally, but that was a very long one. At that, I didn't realise the game starting so early today, says Marius. And also, we got the old Caleb trying to be scouted by the NFL. And also, I like I've hunted the ball more. He'll be a big influencer. And while he holds up the globe, my bad, we got me cross-eyed, says Doctor. Yeah, New Zealand will kick this one for touch. They had a pretty good attacking chance, definitely with Caleb Clark getting that ball back for New Zealand. You'd have to assume that there was a knock-on or something. Here comes a change. It's going to be Salawa off, and Ilya Thanakaivata makes his way on. He is a brilliant talent for the Fijians. Any old AB's player still worthy, playing the black jersey, says Mark. I think there's a few guys in their 30s at the moment who are still doing very well for the ABs. Asafo Moore hanging on to this one at the back. I mean, Cody Taylor's probably a good example of that, although saying that his form at times has kind of gone up and down throughout the last little while. Sometimes you just need that experience. Who's watching the game but listening to this commentary, says Juicy there. For anyone who does want to sync up their clock, we are currently sitting 52 minutes, 56 seconds. That has a big driving tackle made. Now Safon Moore going across to Adi Savia. Leonard Brown, quick hands out to Reese, who's out on the wing. He's playing his third consecutive start for the All Blacks. One of the few All Blacks players who have had that opportunity. Now with a pick and go, here comes Reese. He's got Hotham with him, sends him on the inside. Gets the pass away to Savia, sells the big dummy. Which the crowd did seem to, that was almost illegal. From Reese, the way he chopped in there. Ethan the group back to McKenzie. He's been smashed, but still got the pass away to Billy Proctor. Clark for the corner will get the try. That is one of the perfect examples of McKenzie being able to take a big shot and still get that next pass away. Got that Fijian down pat in top class, says Juicy. Where is World Rugby when you need them? And also we have got there, give that's always great commentary. But that is a great finish for Caleb Clark. He's now got 2 tries. He said to Talia, anything you could do last game, I can do better. But great acceleration from Reese. Got it away to Hotham. And then from there, it just all started building up. It was a massive shot on Damian McKenzie by... you feel the ribs go backwards there, but Proctor, great hands. And then just the pace of Clark to shift to the outside and score that try untouched. Great bit of work from the All Blacks. This is when you make your subs, though. Like, there's no point having those young players off the bench if you're not going to give them any minutes heading into the Rugby Championship. Hang on, what's happening now? Matthew Carley wants to check something. Oh, yep, we're having a look at something here, ladies and gentlemen. DK Bunches so far above his weight. Right, there's a bit of infringement which opens the original space that Severis goes through up is what they are checking here. Interesting. Damian McKenzie will be saying, well, I didn't take that shot for nothing. Right, Hamish, who is your favourite player in each team? I mean, Radradra has been really good for Fiji. Also, Tavita Ikanaviri. Right, we're going to see Adi Savia. Yeah, Scott Barrett passed the ball. Looks like that is going to be the illegal clue now. Not part of the ruck. So Scott Barrett did engage a player who was not in the breakdown. So he is now going to be taken, well, not taken, but the try is going to be taken away from Caleb Clark. It will count of obstruction. They should still make their subs, though. I've just said about poor Damian McKenzie there. After taking that massive shot, it was still a great try, other than the fact that it was, are the ABs, for the ABs playing or not. Currently, they've only got one who is on the field, and that is Noah Hotham, and also Billy Proctor, who did start this game. But no one, in terms of the bench, has made their way really onto the field for the All Blacks of those debutants. They've got 5 available. And I don't understand the reasoning behind, there we go, Satiti's on now. That's a good call. Who's that going to be for? Savia or Blackadder? Is Savia going to shift to 7? The 21-year-old, though, he has got a bright future, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like it's for Savia that they've decided to take him off. Woo, Satiti on. making his international debut. He's got 25 minutes to work, and of course, throughout that Chiefs season, we saw him working all the time. So this one will be no different. But anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for this contest. Good call. Unleash him. Says Kit now rush defense from Leonard Brown. Slight bump off his shoulder, so that is going to be a knock-on advantage against the New Zealanders. Tackle made by Pasilio Tosi, who has also made his way onto the field. Same with George Bell, who's just been bumped off. Right, they made all their subs, and they didn't tell us, unfortunately, but I'm trying to look around to see if there's any other changes. I don't believe Derry is out there yet, but they have made a few changes of Pasilio Tosi alongside Bell and also Satiti. But now Bowden Barrett passes it across to Billy Proctor. He has got Caleb Clark on his outside there. Big fan from Proctor, luring in two defenders. So the inexperienced halfbacks done well. They certainly have. Nice snipe and run from Noah Hotham. Gets round 3 of the Fijian defence. Let's go Satiti. Says what happened. Now McKenzie goes across to Groot in behind. Leonard Brown cross to Vai, who's got a lot of space to work with here. Blackadder with the ball on the inside, just drops it, trying to regather. I'm glad to see Satiti gets the chance to play. And Tossi on debut, says Kit Dyer. Quick tap taken by the Fijians. Here comes big Viliami Mudder and a nice low tackle made by Bowden Barrett. Now stepping from Hereti Hitit. Bell trying to get into those breakdowns. Get a turnover, wasn't able to the first 2 attempts. Rushing up defence from Leonard Brown. They fire it out wide. Do I see a Nayata Levu? Only 50 metres out from the line here for Fiji. And while Satiti's son of the legendary Samoan Simu Satiti, the captain of Samoa, he is indeed, I believe, anyway. Nice take from Damian McKenzie. Offloads to Bowden Barrett. Looking for the 50-22, does not work out. And so now I see a Nayata Levu. Ball bounced out of his hands. Going to be a Fijian hand. Glad to see Satiti getting a chance to play, and defence has been nice. When Fiji have the ball, says Juicy. Yeah, Fiji throughout this game have missed about 40 tackles, so that is certainly somewhere that they have let themselves down a little bit. Fijians in the mist. So here's Dr. Pooh. Only 33 points to 5 with 23 minutes remaining. Nice line out. Claimed by Asoa Nasilasila. Another big shot coming in. Blackadder made the tackle and Satiti gets the strip. Now Scott Barrett, 22 metres out from the line here for the All Blacks. Satiti calling for it. Puts it in behind to McKenzie. Leonard Brown. It's the Chiefs all day at the moment, but now Bowden Barrett gets it away to Caleb Clark, switching to the Blues. Hotham goes to the right-hand side. Here comes Wallace. Satiti's first carry. Great low tackle, though, from Tavita Ikanaveri. That is probably the last Fijian that you do want in front of you when you're trying to make your first metres in international rugby, just because that man hardly ever misses a tackle and doesn't often let you go forward very far. Now Hotham, snipe around the side of the breakdown. Here comes Pasilio Tosi off to Satiti. And he's just going to be short of the line. Couldn't quite get his offload to Bell into Groot. Goes in for the try. Great work from the debutees, or debutants off the bench. Pasilio Tosi through a gap and then got his offload to Satiti. Both very close, but it's going to be de Groot who gets the reward, his first of 2024. And I am Groot, says Mr. Orlinda Satiti Jr. Play like his dad. Dad was blazing hot head on the field. I mean, he plays very disciplined, I feel, Wallace Satiti, but he got the original strip that got the ball back for the All Blacks. And then from there, just a nice short ball from Hotham, getting it to Tosi. And then Satiti was there. Tavita Ikanaveri, though, almost stopped him this time. It was Lakima Tangi Valu. And Bulldozer Tosi says, Kit Dyer. Blazing run through a gap, but well done by Noah Hotham as well to spot that gap. McKenzie gets the conversion now, 40 points to 5 in favour of New Zealand. But Ethan de Groot, he's been on the field for 2 minutes, or 5 minutes maybe maximum. And Tamaiti Williams will be sitting off the field going, why don't we do that when I was out there? A good finish from de Groot. And damn, these newbies are looking solid, says JDB. But do you know why they're looking solid? Because they're informed players. They were playing brilliantly throughout Super Rugby Pacific. They are the players that should be being selected off form And maybe this is the perfect example of why they possibly should have more minutes in the future as well. But Sam Darry now gets his debut for the All Blacks. He's going to be on for Tupa Vai. It is possibility. These young blokes are looking good. So here's JDB. Now 40-5 at the moment. The score, still 20 minutes remaining. The All Blacks going with the rolling more. And yes, they are informed players. That one's gone down. Fiji might be able to defend this, although Bell trying to get it out the back. Fiji taking it back in, and they get the scrum there. That's once again Tavita Ikanaveri. Tell you what, if they had 10 of him out there on the field, that'd be absolutely phenomenal, the Fijians. I honestly think this team should have played England just for the experience plus the form these players had from Super Rugby. So you're saying Razor's picking on form. Says JDB, no, because he had Rieko Ioane in his lineup for the first 2 games, and that man's been anything but in form over the last little while. Vasilio Tosi, now he will get his first scrum in an All Blacks kit. Same with George Bell, the young Crusaders, 16. He's just making sure he's on the right mark there. Matthew Carley, I'd like to think you'll be a bit lenient with him, his first ever scrum, and not get too annoyed with him for just wanting to make sure he's in the right place. Going to be a scrum feed for the Fijians. I'm liking this Proctor-Leonard Brown combo. Dang, what did I miss? Some great play from the debutants off the bench. Possession 60% at the moment for the New Zealanders, so still quite a few carries and 63% territory. And this contest, that one's gone down in the front row, and that's going to be the advantage. The feet coming out from underneath Tosi. Now Kuravuli going off to Semiradradra. Kuravuli finding Muntz now. Butitu wanted the offload, and it's going to be knocked down, so they will go back for the original penalty advantage in favour of the Fijians. I hope Anton replaces Geordie, as all he does is pass and kick, and on the odd chance he will run sideways. And AB's pushover. And also we're going to go mighty All Blacks, says Poulet. And there as well. And of course, another game is just around the corner. In about 2 hours' time, ladies and gentlemen, Georgia will be playing Australia. We are covering that game on the channel as well. If you love watching me struggle with pronunciations, that is going to be the game for you, because Georgia's names, some of them, are absolutely brutal. But we're going to try our best. The backs are way more active, says JDB. And yeah, we are going to be doing a video in the near future of what we feel like the All Blacks squad could be for the Rugby Championship. Also, what we would like to see as the All Blacks starting XV as the main one throughout the Rugby Championship. Although for the individual games, we will also be doing our All Blacks starting XVs. How much time is left? Currently 17 minutes remaining in this contest now. Now it's going to be thrown in by Tavita Ikanaveri. Sitting 10 metres out from the line, the rolling maul of the Fijians looking like it is creeping towards that AB's try line. They've been told to use it once though. De Groot's gone through the middle. I think he's got his hands on that ball, but it's popped out the back door for the Fijians. Kuravoli finds his offload now to Samu Tawake. Dragged down by Basilio Tosi, and over the ball, Derry gets the turnover penalty for the All Blacks. Have any of the young players who have made their way onto the field not had a good performance so far? You probably say George Bell just because he hasn't really had the ball and he's also missed a tackle. But other than that, everyone else, although George Bell I think was involved in the original rolling maul defence there, like, the future's looking bright for these youngsters. Well, the All Blacks House Blackadder, he's been busy throughout this game. I'd say he's been a bit shaky at times just with the handling and whatnot, but we've got to remember these are his first minutes in a pretty long time for the All Blacks since 2021 up against the Irish, and also he only played about 5 games throughout Super Rugby Pacific. Wallace Atiti, the first player to go over and congratulate Sam Darry for that one. Here comes George Bell's line out. Ready to throw this one and go straight to Sam Darry. Now Ethan Blackadder puts the ball across to Anton Leonard Brown. Just had a really solid 64 minutes. It starts with your halfback, Jordy and Rieko. Didn't have good fast ball, says Mark. Oh, tell you what, that was almost Clark running away for his second try. That one's going to be disallowed as well. He slams it down like he's playing NFL or American football. But like, that's the thing, though. There were times where Jordy and Rieko, like, they had the chance, right? But it just didn't really seem to work for them. And don't get me wrong, maybe if they had Cortez and Atama starting at 9 while those two are on the field, maybe it will make a difference. But I just feel like if you're basing it off Super Rugby form as well, like Geordie was probably the pick of those two, but still Rico hasn't found his stride this year. Clark really means business. He does. He's looked really good in this game, and I'm hoping that's proved a lot of people wrong, because some people are still thinking Caleb Clark is the same player as 2022, which he just isn't. He's got a lot fitter, a lot faster, and he's doing a lot better than he was in 2022. So hopefully he can continue that form. Nice tackle made by George Bell there. Now off to the left-hand side. Big shot coming in on Tavita Ikanaveri by Caleb Clark. Now here comes Ilya Thanakoiwata. He's not held. He goes twice. He's got the man on the inside, but he can't get the pass away. And instead finds Blackadder with it. Leonard Brown inside of the 22. Can't get through to Vita Ikanaveri. And the ball bounces out for Fiji. Up to Muntz now. Gets his offload to Philemone Botetu. Almost tackled a little bit early by Proctor. In fact, it's Sareli Mangwala, who's only 5 metres out from the Fijian try line. Kuravoli goes to Albert Tuisui. And over the ball, Basilio Tosi wins the turnover penalty for New Zealand. That was very well done from Fiji, though, to be able to counter the way that they did. Will the new guys be the AB's bomb squad, says Kit Dyer? I mean, at the moment, they're doing extremely well. Of course, you're not allowed to call them that, though, because or else then South Africans do get quite offended, because that's their term. We've got to come up with a different name for the All Blacks one, though. I don't know. At least Fiji don't have a donut. Tossi looking like Godzilla, says JDB. And also we get their futures looking for, says Warren there. Looks like another change to Vita Ikanaveri, making his way from the field. But boy, has he played outstandingly for Fiji in that one. It could have been a line break. Leonard Brown was all but through, but the man who stopped them once again, Tavita Ikanaveri. Geordie, I should go back to fullback, and Rico should back to the wing. Waste of speed in the centres. We have got there, Dossie is a beast, says Asher. Nicely thrown in by George Bell, claimed by Jacobson, as the All Blacks look to get that rolling maul, marching forward again. Oh, Noah Hotham will put up the kick. Is it contestable? Looks like, is that Wallace Satiti chasing after it? No, it's a Moni Narawa. Got a very similar haircut, those two. Both going probably to the same barber, being at the Chiefs. Kuravuli going back across the Muntz now in behind Semi Radradra. Nice sell and go. Getting it away to Philemone Botetu now. Pick and go here for Simeone Kuravuli. The Fijians just haven't slowed down throughout this whole contest. Beautiful offloading, but then again it will be the knock-on from the Fijians. It will now be this scrum feed for the All Blacks. We have got there Ikanaveri is playing by himself. He's been one of the forwards that no matter where they've been on the field, you've seen him. And like that's one of those ones that, like Fiji, if they can find a few more guys with the work rate of Ikanaveri, they'll be in a very good position. Ilya Thonakaivata, I believe, has that work rate. I think that Kitioni Salawa, he has the potential of doing great things as well. And too bad the Flying Fijian didn't have their full squad, says Setavini. Yeah, they're missing a few players in this contest. The All Blacks having only one cap of experience between their two halfbacks, certainly lacking a bit of the experience there. But these two young guys have actually done a lot better, I believe, than the experienced ones. Rico was awesome on the wing, but wanted to go centre, didn't he? Says coaches. Yeah, I don't know whether it was so much as him or whether there was talks of what they wanted from him. Again, we win the ball. And what do? We kick it away. Why? Says Oswald. Speaking of that, Bowden Barrett now kicks it downfield straight into the hands of Fiji. Luckily for him, though, Botetu's going to kick it back on the full, and they will get a good territory gain there for New Zealand. It's finished, says USFG. Not quite. 69 minutes through. And this matchup, how long to go? 11 minutes. And now getting ready to throw this one. 12 minutes, says Salah. It's going to be George Bell again here. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button, though. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for this contest. We've got plenty more coming in the near future, including a whole heap of action between Australia and Georgia, as well as South Africa, Portugal later on tonight. Going short side there, George Bell with a nice run. Gets tackled by Lakima Tangi Valu. Hotham off to Sam Derry. The benefit that a lot of these guys who are on debut have is they have played up against these Fijian boys in the Fijian draw. Of course, there's a few new-look players such as Radradra, Waisianaithalevu, these guys that they haven't played up against before, but it will certainly be quite the experience. That is a deliberate knockdown from Hiriti. Now Bowden Barrett goes out to Caleb Clark. What can he do? He gets through one, then it's tackled on the 22-metre line. Hotham goes off to the right. Jacobson in behind. McKenzie gets it to Derry, and the ball is knocked on by him. So they are now going to be in position. Fiji explosion team, says Willem. Fiji showing enough to suggest they are moving in the right direction from the World Rugby point of view. I think that they've got a strong team. Like this game, they've been a little bit outmatched in terms of their defence. I think has been the real thing that's heavily cost them, and also their line-out hasn't been the flashiest. In fact, set piece in general. Nice run from Simeone Kuravuli. Offloads it back into the hands of Wanyanyolo. Tackled by Blackadder though. Now off to the right-hand side. Muntz goes off now to Naiatalevu. Oh, Muntz again. Good attack and run straight at Jacobson. He's at a blinder of a game at number 6. Radradra has a standing start before he is tackled by Billy Proctor. And AB's too strong, says Fear. There's a reason why the All Blacks is known by every country, says Moss. Now, Samu Tawake. Tackle 40 metres out from the line here. Fiji slowly building through their phases and also making those metres gradually. Now, Kuravuli going off to Radradra. When will the All Blacks defence budge? Looks like Proctor may have taken a bit of a stinger in the ribs there from Asoa Nasilasila. Another good low tackle made. Yet to make the sub of Geordie Barrett. Oh, that's a rough pass. It's slipped out of the hands. And now it's loose. Back to McKenzie. He will boot that one downfield. I think the only sub that hasn't been made for the All Blacks at this point is actually the sub of Geordie Barrett. Clark making a great one-on-one tackle in the 22. Almost charging down the kick of Vilimoni Botitu as well. I love Kuravuli, absolute spark plug for this team. Yeah, for me, I had him in the starting lineup in this matchup, and it is a shame about the Lamani injury. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, but Kuravuli, anytime that man's on the field, he just brings the electricity. Oh, okay, looks like Geordie Barrett. Ooh, Geordie Barrett's going to play at 15, replacing Bowden Barrett. Might be the only way he gets into the side in the Rugby Championship with the way that Leonard Brown has played throughout this game. Hotham now goes to McKenzie and behind Leonard Brown. Short ball to Proctor. Couldn't get his offload away. And Muntz didn't contest there. It's actually going to be the penalty for the Fijians. I thought if Muntz got his hands on the ball, might have been the turnover, but he didn't even need to. Here's what happened. Oh, yeah, we've got that man of the match. Man of the match is tough, to be honest, because Jacobson's had a solid game, but I don't think many people would give him man of the match. I think that Clark's been solid. I think that Leonard Brown's been really good at 12. Proctor on the outside's been really strong. So probably one of those guys, but I honestly don't know what way they'll go. I think they'd go Leonard. No, I'd go... No, I don't know if I would go Leonard Brown. He's been really good, but I don't know if he's the only guy out of there that hasn't really scored the try, though, isn't he? In terms of some of those options that I was mentioning. Yeah, someone will get it. I'm hoping that they'll make that decision rather than me. Leonard Brown, man of the match. Says Kit there. I like this lineup and Geordie's super sub and thoughts on Blackadder's offload game tonight. Always asking questions, Jacobson too. Anton Leonard Brown, my guess for the man of the match. And Clark, man of the match. Here comes Damian McKenzie with a nice run down the wing. And he's almost forced in a touch, but Sam Derry keeps the ball alive. He should have offloaded there though, but hangs on to it. Hotham goes across. Jacobson in behind McKenzie. Finds Leonard Brown. One more to Proctor. He will always back himself to go through a gap. Moves up to the halfway line, but he got slightly isolated. The ball comes out for Satiti. Now here comes Geordie Barrett. He's got Nuttall with him. Flicks it out. Why do you have to be fancy? Could have just passed it to him. But instead, it's the knock-on from Nuttall who had to catch it round his kneecaps. Anton Leonard Brown and Billy Proctor, 10 out of 10. Bye-bye Big Bird Barrett and Rico Dum-Dum, says Shane. That was nicely done. He also had Satiti on the inside, though, which was slightly unfortunate. Barrett just making the wrong choice. And what was a nice line break. Satiti also asking questions. And Geordie shouldn't give him the ball. Yeah, he was too busy trying to fend, and he felt like he was going to be able to get that offload away. But just an offload on the inside, I've just said they're probably not good enough from Jordie Barrett. When you are making your way off the bench, you have to make an impact. And 5.5 minutes remaining, not much time to be able to do that. This feels like a low-scoring game. I'd disagree. I feel like anyone who said that New Zealand were going to win this game with 70 or 80 points on the board weren't showing enough respect to this Fijian side. Like 35 points difference between them is still a pretty big spread, but like it was never going to be one of those games that had 500 tries on the board. Well, not 500, but it wasn't going to be like 10 tries for the ABs in this game. Fiji do still have a decent defence. They didn't concede up against the Georgians who scored for Fiji. Are they really playing or defending the whole time? They've had about 30-something% territory and also only about 40% possession. And they made a lot of tackles, but they missed quite a few in there as well. But in terms of who scored for Fiji, it was Vilimoni Botitu early on. See, Fiji have had to defend inside of their 22 for 7.5 minutes almost throughout this game. Give it to Anton Lineout-Brown. And don't get too carried away. This is Fiji. There's Mark in there as well. See, that shouldn't be said as an insult, though, because, like, Fiji, we've got to remember, Fiji beat England last year, and they almost beat them in the World Cup quarter-final. So, as much as people like to disrespect this Fijian side, like, their defence has really been the difference maker here. 48 missed tackles. All Blacks have missed 21, though, so that's actually relatively high for the ABs. I haven't been a centre of class like Proctor since the great Bruce Robertson, and I absolutely love your call. But it's painful listening to turnover after turnover, says Robert. Now, Albert Tui Sui going to be in position for Fiji. Akata was not onside. Now going in behind. And Caleb Muntz will kick this one towards the touchline. Does manage to find touch. Fiji have beaten Oz, exactly right. Like, Fiji are a strong side. And yes, this scoreline doesn't really represent that. But like I said, there's been parts of Fiji's game that have been a little bit more weak in this game, and the All Blacks have capitalised on that. But I wouldn't write Fiji off. They've got a Pacific Nations Cup around the corner where I think they will do pretty decently. They've got the November internationals around the corner, which I hope that they are competitive in the Northern Hemisphere. Fiji doing good for its sides. Both sides are playing very well. No matter. Which side strong? They're both Islanders, says Tio there. Now, George Bell hanging on to this one at the back of the rolling maul for the All Blacks. Now, Lineout-Brown across to Proctor. If he found Barrett on the outside, that could have been a big gap. Now, around the side of Moni Narawa saw the opportunity for the pick and go. Gets his offload up to Billy Proctor. Back across to Wallace Satiti, who will break through one tackle and move up to 22 out. Now Hotham, Barrett, quick hands, Lineout-Brown, one more to Clark. Goes through the weak attempt of Semi Radradra tackling. Bell gets it from Hotham, 5 metres out from the line now. Big clean out on Caleb Muntz. Getting close, Clark maybe tackled a bit high from Vilimoni Botitu. Offloaded up to Bell and he will score on debut. And George Bell, big smile on his face, massive hug from Ethan de Groot and Sam Derry. I definitely see a draw coming. And we have a good day. I think AB's done well. Thought Fiji would do better. Well done, ABs. Thanks again, Amish says Moa Hunters and getting close to the top 10 side. Will this be the final score? It will not be. And Chiefs dominated ABs, says Stanley there. And good crowd from San Diego. And guys, can look $1 million against Fiji. But against the Springboks, that is a different story. Says Mark, well, the benefit is we haven't seen them play the Springboks yet. So, of course, we can say what we want about a game that's taken place in a few months' time, but until that game actually takes place, what are we basing it off? Are we basing it off what happened 10 months ago? If the players changed from then, I would think so. So, like, as much as you want to say the All Blacks haven't played well because they're playing Fiji, I feel like that's just a stupid statement. No offence, but some offence intended. Appreciate you doing the commentary, Hamish. You're the man, bro, says Malcolm, because you can only play what's in front of you. They're not going to play the Springboks in this game because they're playing Fiji. The Fijians are not South Africa. So you can't play South Africa in this game. So you don't know how they'll play. Chat's wild at the moment, says stay hunky and agreed. Hamish says drink on the moon. Looks like Clark will be man of the match. He's got to be close to it with the way that he has been able to play throughout this game. How much time is left and what is the score? Currently 47 points to 5 with only 1.5 minutes remaining. It's going to be knocked on from Wallace Saditi, or at least I thought it was. Looks like Pasilio Tosi gets it away to Darry Nuttall, who wasn't ready for it. And this time it's going to be a knock on from the All Blacks. And it looks like Curtin Rye's game. Says Abdul and Proctor Brown are locked in then for the All Blacks. Says Kit Dye. Yeah, I agree. I feel like they have to try this combination out up against Argentina. See how they end up going in that game. Because, of course, in that game they will be playing Argentina because that is the team that they're scheduled to play. And then from then they might get the opportunity to play up against the South Africans. Is this a full-strength AB's team? It's a weird one because what is full strength at the moment? Because would you consider what played in that Rugby World Cup final full strength for the All Blacks? Or would you consider the young informed players full strength? Because honestly, all the players who have made their way off the bench, the informed guys from Super Rugby, have had an impact throughout this game. So would you consider them as starters now? Or are they just still finding their way in? I don't think full strength, I don't even know what full strength is for New Zealand at the moment, I'll be honest. And thanks for the stream, my bro. You're the man. Too bad about a couple of eggs in the chat. Says young man. Eating some muscle, says oldie. I live in Australia. Believes for the All Blacks all day. The full time is 47.5. Says Willem in the 2015 ABs. Would have put 80 points on them. Says Dan's Pan. 47 though, still pretty decent, isn't it? And to be fair, I think Fiji have got stronger since 2015. And don't worry, Cupcake. Says what happened. It is about being real. I'm not taking away from Fiji, says Mark. But yeah, once again, we can't work out how New Zealand are going to play up against South Africa until we see them play South Africa. We've got to remember this South African side. You could also argue maybe they aren't playing their best rugby at the moment. And even though that is a statement that gets you in a lot of trouble because you're not allowed to say that about South Africa on YouTube, they lost their last game. You know, they struggled up against the Irish and they got outmatched physicality-wise. So if the All Blacks can play a physical game here up against Fiji and they can play a physical game up against South Africa, who knows how that one's going to go? You know, like we can only at this stage play guessing games about what can happen 2 months' time from now. But the good news is it's only 2 months away. So we do actually get to see it very soon. But that is the end of this contest. The All Blacks winning it 47 points to 5. Great performance from the ABs. And the benefit that they've got here is there were still little parts of their game that they can improve on. Fiji, unfortunately, not quite the performance that they would have been after in this game. Their tackling, I think they missed 50 tackles throughout this contest. Their defence was lacking a little bit in the set piece. But overall, their running game, when they had the ball in hand, it was still relatively strong. And I look forward to seeing what they can do throughout the Pacific Nations Cup, which is only around 30 days away. And Razor found the winning combination. Says get die and fire commentary, Hamish. Says Mr. All in. Hope Ratama is all good. Probably past 50, but Hotham. Another box will put 20 points this AB side, Bud. Says Dan's Pan. I mean, they put 1 on them in the Rugby World Cup final. I know you still want to see Vern Cotter as your AB's coach, Dan's Pan. You've been bitching about it since about 2 months ago, but eventually you might get to see your favourite guy get into the coaching helm. Thanks for the commentary. Appreciate it, says USFJ. And also we got the Shane Wigmore. They play well together. Anton Leonard-Brown would be centre, or would have been centre ages ago if they didn't have that injury. Oh, Fiji. Do you have to be as consistent as Italy? Says Connor Cahill. Whoops. That was almost a slip of the tongue, wasn't it? And AB Zone, Fiji and 15's rugby. I'm back and I told y'all, says WMS, and Anton Leonard-Brown and Proctor were outstanding. Really showed why Rico and Geordie aren't up to the midfield, says Scrotimus. And yeah, like, credit where credit is due. They both had a very strong game. And 3 from 3, time for KFC, says Fluffy, and Razor winning mindset continues, says Kid Dine. Thanks for the top commentary, bud. Says Dan's Pan. And there as well. And coulda, woulda, peoples, says Marius. But yeah, the next game that we are covering on the channel is starting in about an hour and a half's time, ladies and gents. That is between Australia and Georgia, followed by South Africa versus Portugal. So if you are new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe where you cover South Africa, Portugal. We certainly will be for that one. Man of the match, I would give it to Anton Leonard-Brown. Close second, probably Caleb Clark. And then you'd have to throw someone like a Luke Jacobson or Billy Proctor in the running as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for... Oh, they're interviewing Billy Proctor on mute at the moment. Maybe he did get man of the match. Oh no, it's his All Blacks debut today. They didn't put man of the match up on the screen though. Next one, good work for the newbies. They were all on the ball, says Sanjeeva there. But yeah, nonetheless, we will have a review coming out of this game in a very short moment, so be sure to check that out. Thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.